Who is for biodata reading today? Biodata reading के लिए कौन है? Kindly unmute. Who is for biodata reading?
34 है सर जी
34. ठीक है 30. Roll number 34. You can unmute and you can start the biodata.
Yes, sir. Hello. Sandeep Bhalero, roll number 34. Today is my duty is for biodata reading, sir.
Sir, you can start the biodata reading.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
एक मिनट सर ये तो स्टार्ट करने दो मुझे मैं लगाता हूँ. Yes, roll number 34.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All participants, colleagues, and my distinguished guest. Muley Mission UGC HRDC, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, and the organizers of this refresher course. It is my great honor to introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Dr. M.B. Muley, sir. Sir is a senior professor of environmental science at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar. Sir has an impressive 33 years of teaching experience, in which Sir has dedicated 18 years of his service to Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University and 15 years to Shivaji University, Kolhapur. During his academic journey, he has also served as the head of department for 9 years, means 3 times for 3 years. Displays his leadership in guiding and shaping the future of environmental science. A highly respected scholar, Sir, research contributions are substantial. Sir has successfully guided 12 students to their PhD and currently supervises 7 students. His prolific work includes the publication of 80 research papers, and he, Sir published 92 scientific journals articles in scientific journals. In addition to his research papers, Dr. Muley has published 2 books and holds 2 patents. One patent, sir, awarded, and 1 patent is published. Sir's expertise has also led him to chair the Environmental Science Advisory Board and serve on the Board of Studies. He has served as a resource person in various academic forums and represented India in Egypt, China, and Singapore for scientific presentations. Dr. Muley is also a valued reviewer for numerous prestigious scientific journals. Today, Sir will speak on environmental education, recent trends, and major environmental issues. We are fortunate to have such an experienced and knowledgeable speaker with us. Sir, we welcome and over you to sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the kind words. Thank you very much for the kind words. At the outset, first, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the course coordinator, Professor N.N. Bandela sir, for giving me an opportunity to present myself. Second, third, open. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Professor N.N. Bandela sir for giving me an opportunity to present myself in this refresher course of environmental studies. Friends, simultaneously, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the this staff college, formerly academic staff college, now Pandit Dindar Malviya Research Center, Teacher Training Centers Authority for giving me an opportunity to present myself in this particular refresher course. Today, I am going to speak on the topic that the environmental issues and its the need related to the education, environmental education. If we speak about the environment, then we must have idea about this particular terminologies. I think in our educational curricula everywhere, we are reading about the environment and we are familiar with the different kinds of the environmental problem. And many time, casually, we are having very approach casually toward this particular subject. Regarding the environmental problems and other kinds of the issues, if we consider this, even at the government level, even at the decision-making level, and in the government as well as in overall in education system also, this subject is being not given the weightage which is actually it is required to this particular subject, because environmental science, when I'm speaking, always I'm saying that this subject is the subject of 21st century. And each and every living creatures on our planet Earth and their survival related to the surrounding environment. And hence, if we have to protect our environment for a long time, then there is no any alternative to the study this particular subject. But it is unfortunate in our education systems and other, this particular subject has been given the least weightage. Later on, I will, when I am going to deliberate the second half on the environmental education, I will cite my certain salient observation regarding what kind of the environmental education is being there in our India, or what kind of the education, environmental education is given in this university jurisdiction. Those will be my personal opinion, even that I would like to share at the last. But overall, we are using this particular term 100 times, many times we are using this terminology, environment with respect to various other. But we don't have any the details about this if we consider the subject depth and other, which is very important subject, and we must understood the important terms, terminologies, the depth, definitions, some part we must know. And to have this particular, we have to have this. Okay. We will have understanding about our environment. If we consider in the simply manner, we can define our environment. Each and everything around us is our environment. If someone tell me, can you define the environment in single sentence? Then I may give this, or I may give one statement. Each and everything around me is my environment, or each and everything around us is our environment. In simple manner, we can define. But what the limit is to be considered? Because if I am explaining, now I am sitting in this classroom and giving my presentation lectures. If I am saying that what is my immediate environment, that is this classroom environment or this particular cabin's environment, then this wall of this cabin become a limiting factor, and whatever it may be, the living thing, non-living thing, structures, all physical, chemical and biological component present in this become a part of my environment. And I can illustrate, I can elaborate them. Then I can say this classroom is a part of the department, or then if I use the term the department environments, then depending upon our object, if I have to study the my environment, department's environment, then what the boundaries which is being there, compound in which this department is being there, each and everything present in this, in which physical, chemical, and biological component present in that particular precised area, which I refer that as my department. From that boundary, all become part of that my environment. It means depending upon our aims and object, we can have this particular the limits for studying. For example, if I can extend this, this department become a part of the university campus, and in the, if I am studying the university environment, then the boundaries of the university became a limit to me, and what the physical, chemical, biological, each and everything, living, non-living, which become a part of that environment, and I may illustrate, I may elaborate that particular component. This university is a part of the city. Now we can just increase this particular limit. This university become a part of the Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar city. And if I am interested to study the environment of Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, then boundaries of this city area become a limit. And within that one, what living, non-living thing present become a part of that the city environment. City is a part of the taluka. We can extend up to the taluka, Aurangabad taluka's environmental condition, then Aurangabad district, state, the Marathwada region where 9 districts is being there. Then we can extend this up to the state level, Maharashtra state environmental conditions. The Maharashtra state boundaries become a limit for this, and what the parameters, living, non-living thing, each and everything present in that particular area become a part of the Maharashtra state's environment. Then this state become a part of the India up to the country level, and country, India's environment, then all the states belonging to the India become a part, and in which what the things present in that. Now just we are expanding this up to the Asiatic continent. India became a part of the Asia continent, and on world 5 continents is being there, major 5 continent, and then entire planet Earth up to this particular, because in the environment, if I'm studying the planet Earth, all the spheroid structure present on this, if we consider our planet Earth, this particular very unique small section which is supporting to the life, and then this particular can extend up to our Earth is a part of the solar system. Solar system is a part of the Milky Way, and Milky Way is the part of the galaxies. Where our solar system is present in these galaxies, and in the universe, billions of the galaxies which is being there, and very unique conditions. Depending upon our aims and object, we can extend our boundaries for understanding the limits for understanding. Actually, when we observe that if any one parameter from the particular part is influencing the structure as well as the functional component in that particular system, then that should be a part of that particular environmental systems. For example, once upon a time on our planet Earth, during the prehistoric period, Cenozoic and Mesozoic era, dinosaurs were dominated on our planet Earth. And the deep impact on one meteoroid, huge size meteoroid, was collided to the Earth, and Earth, drastic changes has been taken place, and Earth has been gone to the cold age era. And during that long period, the dinosaurs, once upon a dominating creatures on our planet, which is being extended from the planet Earth. It means from the solar systems, collision of the meteorite. So we can consider up to the solar systems that particular limit, because that is influencing the structural as well as the functional component on the planet Earth. So when we study this particular, depending upon the objects, we have to decide the boundaries or the limits for understanding the component, which we can reduce up to the subatomic level at micro level, and we can extend up to the universe level. Until, because now generally we are using the term environment and what the experience we are getting from the surrounding environmental conditions. For example, in the summer days, if hot is being there, then environment is very hot. In the winter season, if temperature reduce surrounding environment or the extremely cold, likewise we give the comment only. But actually, we experience the immediate environment and we try to understand that one. Actually, this particular the component we can reduce up to the micro level as well as up to the macro level. But if we consider our planet Earth, which is a very unique, and as far as our environment is concerned, which is very unique, because on our planet Earth, the three environmental component, part of the lithosphere, part of the hydrosphere, part of the atmosphere, which they combines to form the biosphere, that the spheroid structure present on the earth, which is favorable for the growth of the living organism, growth and propagation of the living organism, or for the presence of the living organism. Therefore, this particular part, which is very, very important. If we consider, sorry for 1 minute, madam, me lecture मध्ये आहे. So this particular, the planet Earth, if we consider the diameter of the Earth, it is approximately 12.5 thousand kilometer, more than that, 12,500 above that one diameter, equatorial diameter. It is not it is not sphere, but it is a ellipsoid structure, and this particular Earth, when we observe from the space, it is watery planet, because 2/3 part of the Earth is covered by the water and 1/3 part is the Earth crust, that landmass is being there. And Earth, which is surrounded by the air containing layer, we called it as the atmosphere. So this Earth crust and water bearing part, which is near to the surface, and air containing very thin layer which is supporting to the life. If we consider the biosphere from the earth crust, when we drill in the earth crust, maximum living creature are present on the earth surface. Maximum, whether that is plant, animal, which is maximum present on the earth surface. But when we are drilling earth, and during the drilling, the diversity decreasing as we are drilling at the greater depth. During the oil drilling, the scientists, they have reported the living organism at the depth of the 6 kilometer. Microorganisms, some microorganism adapted to the higher temperature and up to the 6 kilometer depth. Living organisms are there. If we are moving toward the higher altitude in the air, from the earth surface 6 kilometer in the air, the living organisms are being distributed. Diversity or number, which is gradually decreasing as we move toward the altitude. This is regarding the earth crust part. Regarding the hydrosphere, that oceanic part, when from the sea level, when we go downward into the ocean, a maximum up to the 6 kilometer, the organisms which is being reported, and above the ocean 6 kilometer in the air. If we consider the Earth's diameter, which is approximately 12.5 thousand kilometers, more than that one, 12,700 something figure is being there, which is about 12,500 kilometer, in which 12 kilometers, 6 kilometer in soil as well as 6 kilometer in water, and 6 kilometer, 6 plus 6, 12 kilometer. Means 1,000 times thin layer around this earth is supporting to the life, and which is forming this particular biosphere, part of the lithosphere, part of the hydrosphere, atmosphere, which is favorable to that one. And in the extreme conditions at the core of the earth, temperature is very high, lava is being there, so no question of the survival. And in the at the higher altitude, when oxygen is zero, then survival of the living organism is also not possible. But this particular 12-kilometer layer, which is supporting to the life, and which is very, very important as far as the living organisms. What makes our planet unique as far as our environment is concerned, because our planet is consisting the living organism which we could not see on the planet system in our solar systems. This particular unique conditions, unique environmental conditions which is prevailing on our planet Earth, and which is responsible for having the living creature on this particular. What are those unique things which makes our planet Earth unique in the universe, which is supporting to the life, and on which the living organisms are flourish in the biosphere? Earth size and its distance from the sun in our universe, or in our this galaxy of the stars, or in the this particular the galaxies galaxies of the stars, our sun and its size, which is very unique, because in the universe there are so many giant stars is being there. Our sun is very little as compared to the other, because huge size the stars is being there in the universe, specifically in the galaxies. There were billions of the galaxies which is being there in the universe, and having the large number of the solar systems, and they have their size. Our sun, which is having a unique size, and this particular, which is holding this particular the planet, half of the earlier 9 planet, now half of the planet which having the rock and the solid mass, that rock bearing part, which this particular planetary systems which is rotating around the sun. This particular the quantum of the hydrogen fuel which is being consumed, size of our sun, which is because of the continuously incandescence source of the energy, where hydrogen fusion reaction which is being taken place, and this particular size, which is gradually the size is being expanding, and this size of the sun, which is a very unique, and having this the 7 planet planet system, 8 planets, which is first half near to the sun are the rock bearing parts and other, in which Earth, Mars and other, and later on the gas giant like the Saturn and the other planet, which the gas giants having large size but gas is being dominated on our planet Earth, which makes the very unique, because its size is very in the proportion, and which is size of the Earth is responsible for having the unique gravitational force. On the Mars, as compared to the Earth, Mars size is small, so gravitational force, which is related to the size of the material present on the Earth. If we consider the planet Earth and its natural satellite Moon size is less, so gravitational force on Moon is less as compared to the Earth, because Earth is having the larger size and larger gravitational force. And the same on the Moon, because of the smaller size, minimum gravitational force is being there, so a person cannot walk, it has to be jump, because gravitational force is less. This gravity, which is related to the size in our solar system, sun is having the larger size, so it is holding all these planetary systems, keeping rotating around the sun in the particular orbit, and everything is in the motion. Sun, which is also moving in the galaxies of the stars in the Milky Way, the solar system is not stable, which is moving in the particular direction in the space. Earth, which is moving along its axis, and simultaneously it is moving around the sun in the orbit, and all other planets which are also not unstable, and they are rotating around the sun. Now this particular, the sun is having the larger the size and mass, so it is holding all these planetary systems rotating around the orbit. This unique, which is related to the gravitational force. Now Earth, and if we compare the Mars, Mars is having the smaller size, and atmosphere on the Mars is not thick as like the Earth, because the size is having the difference. But Earth, our Earth, which is having a unique composition as far as elemental composition, whatever it may be the elements, which is being mentioned in the periodic table, 118 elements, which is mentioned in the periodic table, which is being present on the Earth crust. And every element is having the certain form, solid, liquid, gaseous, and plasma. 4 form is being there. Generally common observable 3, solid, liquid, and gaseous. Plasma is the 4th. Occasionally we can experience that one, but generally element which is being present in the 3 form, atoms having the unique reaction potential, and they are having the reactive potential, and depending upon their electrons exchange capacity, formation of the molecules, and the number of proton deciding the atomic number, proton and neutrons, and unique properties which is being there, and different element in the mixture, compound, and other form which is being present on the Earth crust, and which is a very unique component, because for the living organism, all the minerals, elements input is from this Earth crust component, either which is present in the lithosphere, hydrosphere, or in atmosphere, which is providing this particular input and this particular unique composition which is being there. On the Earth, this particular presence of water is very unique, because this water, when we observe the planet Earth from the space, it is a watery planet, because 2/3 part of the Earth is covered by the water and 1/3 is the landmass. This particular, there are 7 continents, in which 5 continents are favorable for the living of the mankind, and which are propagating, whereas 6th and 7th, that is North Poles continent, that Arctic region and Antarctic region, which having the extreme conditions. So these less occupied by the man, but as far as propagation, this 5 continent, which is 1/3, approximately 1/3 part of the planet Earth. This water present on the Earth, which is favorable for the formation of the living creatures, which has been taken place. As far as some scientists, environmentalists, or the scientists, they have proposed the theory that living organisms has been evolved in the aquatic ecosystems, and from the single cellular organism, multicellular organisms, and by the process of evolution, this whatever it may be, the today's diversity of flora, fauna, and microbes which is existed on our planet is by virtue of the evolutionary process which has been taken place in the water. In early stage of Earth's metamorphic changes, our Earth, which has also passed in the metamorphic stages and which is responsible for having the unique conditions. Earlier, it was the hot molten magma state, hot spheroid structure. But when our solar system passed through the particular part of the universe, from which in the form of meteorites and other, which is made up from the ice, the water is being received on the planet. And this hot earth, which is being start to rapidly cool, and the water which is being accumulated on from this particular on the earth, this particular water, as this water which is being passed vaporized form, vapor form, which is being held by virtue of the gravitational force, this water vapors and other which were not dissipated in the environment, but they have been held, and hydrological cycle is being triggered. Since Earth developmental stages on our planet Earth, the hydrological cycle which is being there, and Earth pass through the different stages of metamorphic changes and slow cooling process, this earth crust formation, and the typical hydrological cycle which is existed on this, which is by virtue of this particular earth's metamorphic process, and which has been favored for the propagation of the living creature in the aquatic ecosystem. In early stage, all the living creatures which have been developed in the aquatic ecosystem, later on they have been adapted to the terrestrial ecosystems, and by virtue of physical, chemical, and biological interactions, the atmospheric gas composition and other which has been also changed, and by virtue of the particular the gas composition, etc., unique structure has been developed because of the Earth's metamorphic changes. If we consider the uniqueness on our planet Earth, that is unique is the thermal balance. along because presence of water is responsible for the development of the living creature on our planet Earth, and which were flourished in the first living organism evolved in the organ. I think you are aware about that in the scientific arena. There are some certain scientists Miller and Urey, they have given the experimental support output of their research that yes, during the reducing type of the environment, first types of the creatures were evolved in the aquatic ecosystem, and in the reducing environment, they have synthesized the amino acids and provided that this living creatures, first living creature has been evolved, structural component because which has been developed in the reducible environmental conditions, and these particular favorable living organisms which has been evolved, and by the process of evolutionary process from the single cellular, multicellular organisms, plants, animals, and other aquatic organisms were evolved. When Earth passing through the stages of the metamorphic changes in this on this planet Earth, the flora, fauna, and other which has been developed, and from aquatic to the amphibians and terrestrial organisms which have been established on the planet Earth, and which is a very unique part which is being happen on our planet Earth, and this presence of water has triggered all these procedures. So therefore, presence of water is very unique as far as our planet Earth is concerned. There is one more parameter which we could categorize as a very important that uniqueness of our Earth's environmental system. There is a thermal balance, and this particular part we know from the surface of the sun on our planet Earth. Sun is the source of energy, and on the planet, on the star sun, our sun, where the hydrogen fusion reaction is continuously taken place in the coronal regions, and helium formation which is being taken place. Hydrogen atom are combining and helium atom is being forming, and during this fusion process, huge amount of energy is being released in the form of radiant form and dissipated in all the direction around the sun. This particular means continuously 1,000 billion and million types of the atom bomb, hydrogen bomb explosion like reaction process which is being going on in the sun's coronal regions, and huge amount of energy is being dissipated in all the direction. This radiant energy is having a unique property. Because this radiant energy in the form of wave transferring this energy, and our Earth, which is rotating around the sun in the particular orbit, where Earth is not stable, which is rotating around its axis. And when this is exposing to the solar radiation, Earth's half part, that is 12 hour, it is exposing to the daytime, that is light, where the energy which is being receiving in the Earth's surface from the sun, and which is responsible for heating the part, and 12-hour time is the night time, during which the hot object is being cooling. This heating and cooling balanced condition is being developed, and this particular phenomena is virtue of this particular our Earth, which is present in around the sun. Earth is rotating around the sun, and its distance from sun to Earth, which is very unique, and that particular belt which we categorize around the sun, which is a golden zone where input energy is balanced by output, and that in that particular zone our Earth is rotating around the sun. And by virtue of this unique probability, means this is a very rare coincidence, and which is responsible for the formation of the thermal balance. We know the moon, few lakh kilometer it is away from the Earth surface. It means when it is rotating around the Earth, it means the moon is closer to the sun for the some time, and when it is receiving the radiation high intensity, and the moon's part facing toward the sun is having the temperature up to 200 degrees centigrade. It indicates that because high intensity radiation, few lakh kilometer distance in which many lakh kilometer distance, which is responsible for having the high intensity, high energy content, and which is responsible for the increasing. By virtue of this particular presence of Earth in the golden zone, this unique thermal balance is being established. There were many of the phenomena which are in support with this formation of the thermal balance. Presence of the plant in the specific number, presence of the animal in the specific number, their process of photosynthesis, respiration, chemical reactions, process in which the oxidation reduction kinds of the all kinds of the reactions where physical, chemical and biological properties interacted, and unique kind of the balance is being established, in which the regarding the temperature, this particular balance which is providing favorable for the growth of the living organism, which is maintaining within that range, and this particular unique property. There is still one miraculous things which is being present around the planet Earth. If we consider the ozone layer, the air containing layer is up to the 15 kilometer, 15 from the Earth's surface or mean sea level. The air containing nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, all the inert gases, what dust, particulate matters, SOx, NOx, other hydrocarbons, etc., water vapor, all those atmospheric gas composition. This is present up to 15 kilometer. Maximum density of this air is at the mean sea level, and gradually this density is increasing. Decreasing as we move toward the higher altitude. From up to the 15 kilometer, 0 to 50 kilometer on mean sea level to the higher altitude up to 50 kilometer air containing layer, we called it as a troposphere. Then stratosphere from 50 to 50, 50, 15 to 50, that 35 kilometer range, which is of the ozone layer, we called it as a stratosphere. And this particular 35 kilometer thick ozone layer around us is called protective shield of the planet Earth. This is very unique presence of the ozone layer around and which is providing the protection to the living organisms from the sun. The various kinds of the radiations, in which short wave radiation ranging from gamma rays, X-rays, beams, UV radiations up to 300 nanometer or micrometer, then visible radiation, infrared radiations. From the mean Earth surface, 50 kilometer, 50 kilometer in the air. When we analyze the solar radiations, then we find the 10% UV radiation, 45% visible radiation, and 45% infrared radiation. These shortwave UV radiations, if any living organisms are exposing to this, which is responsible for the cancer formation, carcinogenic, because high energy destructive power is being there, short wave energy, and these radiations, they are responsible for the cancers and other these things. These short wave radiations which is being absorbed by the ozone layer, and as ozone layer is absorbing the harmful radiations which is harmful to the living organism, hence this ozone layer is called the protective shield of the planet Earth, because in the biosphere, which is a 12 kilometer thin layer around the earth, supporting to the life, in which all these living creatures, from unicellular microorganism to the giant organism, everyone is being offered the protection by this ozone layer. Hence, it is a protective shield for the living organism is concerned on the planet Earth. This particular the ozone layer, if ozone layer is not there, then everyone organism, no healthy organism, everyone may survive from suffering from the cancer like the disease and other. So no abnormal living creature might be there on the planet systems, but ozone is providing this protecting shield to this. And there is one more very unique conditions that which is present, the satellite of the earth, that is moon. There is a role to the moon. This presence of the moon, which is triggering for the seasonal conditions, there were many of the factors which is being associated with the presence of the moon. Which is protecting the planet Earth when there is any asteroids or other which is moving, and when first moon is rotating around, and when it is coming into the zone of that gravitational force zone of the moon, it is pulling toward them and it is protecting the earth from this meteorite collisions and other. There were the scientists, they are giving the importance, but as far as balanced seasonal environmental condition is concerned, in which this moon is having very important and crucial role on our planet systems. Low tide, high tide phenomena is being there. All the living creatures and other which is adapted to this, every phenomena, whether it is physical, whether it is chemical, whether it is biological, all these are intermingled to each other. All they have the interdependency to the each other. And because of this particular, there were many of the phenomena which is responsible for maintaining in the unique equilibrium condition or in the particular status on the planet Earth. The moon is playing a very crucial and the important role. So these particular unique features make the Earth planet very unique as far as from the other planetary systems. And this particular, what is the very unique property? Presence of the living creature on the surface of the Earth. If we observe, if we scan the large number of the solar systems and planetary systems present in our the Milky Ways or in the galaxies, occasionally we find this probability of having this particular shape, size, presence of the water, and presence of the living organisms. But our planet Earth is being having enough conditions, favorable conditions for the flourishing and propagating the living organisms on the Earth, in which millions types of the plants are there, million types of the animals are there, and millions types of the microorganisms which is being there. These plants, animals, and microorganisms which are forming the unique type of the biodiversity on the planet Earth. This is not a one day, this is a many billion years of the evolutionary process by which this particular complex systems which has been developed on our planet systems. And in this, Earth's metamorphic changes, and where sometimes some authors, they have elaborated or illustrated that Earth's evolutionary process means our Earth, which has been passing through the different stages, which they were explained as the Earth's evolutionary process, but some appropriate terminology in this metamorphic changes. Earth has been passed through the different metamorphic changes, and by virtue of these metamorphic changes, we find the alteration, modification in the climatic conditions and environmental conditions on our planet Earth, which has made this particular environment favorable for the propagation, growth, propagation, and survival of the living organism on the planet Earth. This particular, the development of the Earth is not a one-day process, but it is a many billion years Earth's metamorphic changes and evolutionary process, which has resulted and given this particular shape, with having the variety of the plant, variety of the animals, a variety of the microorganisms, unique environmental conditions with the biosphere. And this particular, the man became a part of these particular environmental systems, but by virtue of our intellectual capacity, thinking and problem solving capacity, man is isolating himself from the other living creatures, and we are trying to control over this. That is the different story we would like to. But this Earth's metamorphic changes and Earth's developmental changes are responsible for having a unique the planet with the living creature, millions types of the living creatures. And this particular metamorphic changes, many billion years evolutionary process, which is responsible for having this, the balanced conditions. Now, in the nature, we find that many things which are not stable, temperature, which is not a steady state parameter, which is having a phenomena. Temperature move from the higher quantity to the lower quantity. Let us take the hot metal bar, heat it up to the red hot and keep for the some time. You will find that red hot, heated iron bar slowly cooling because thermal radiations are irradiated. Temperature is a dynamic parameter which is not constant, which is continuously changing. In our universe, in our planet Earth, there were many of the parameters which are not constant, which are continuously changing. And their physical phenomena, chemical phenomena, biological interactions, many of them which are continuously changing. And when any parameter which is changing, not stable, which is not constant, which is continuously changing, we call that as a dynamic parameter. and on our planet Earth, there were many of the thousands of the parameters which are dynamic in nature. Many of the, for example, in the chemistry process of dissociation, where substance is being dissociated into the AB, let us consider the example of AB substance. In the solvent-solid process, the solid get dissociated in the A plus B, A and B concentration, this process of dissociation, which is in which the movement of ion from higher concentration to the lower concentration with this natural gradient, and these particular phenomena which is responsible for maintaining the dynamic systems. Now, when system is in dynamic condition, there is a universal principle in our scientists have pointed out. When the two dynamic parameters are in equilibrium conditions, then this changing parameter, their average value of the buffer, which is constant, based in the process of dissociation, certain substance is being dissociating and product is being forming. When product concentration is increasing, backward reaction is being there, forming the parent substance. This particular same principle, when in the dynamic system, two parameters are in equilibrium condition, though these parameters which are continuously changing, then these in the equilibrium condition, their average value remain constant. I would like to explain with the simple example. In our environment, there are the certain biological activity which are in the equilibrium, certain activity present in the plant group, certain activity present in the animal group, but those are in the equilibrium conditions. And as per the basic principle, when in the dynamic system, two parameters are in the equilibrium conditions, then this average values of this dynamic parameter remains constant. Now, this particular principle is applicable to the phenomena in the plant. Process of photosynthesis is being going on the terrestrial ecosystem or in aquatic ecosystem. Plants, they are trapping the carbon dioxides and converting it into the biomass. And well-known equation of the photosynthesis, 6 molecules of the carbon dioxide combined with the 6 molecules of water. These are reacting to each other in presence of the chlorophyll, which is present in the plant, and the radiant energy in presence of the chlorophyll, this input of the 6 molecule of carbon dioxide and 6 molecule of water is converting into the higher order compound, that is C6H12O6, that is glucose molecule, and 6 molecule of oxygen is being released. This particular process of photosynthesis, which is in which carbon dioxide is acting as the input. Now, in the process of photosynthesis from the surrounding environment, plants are consuming the carbon dioxide. Means if there are only plants on our planet Earth, then these plants are utilizing the carbon dioxide, and from the air as well as from the surrounding environment, whether it is air, whether it is water, or from the soil, gradually carbon dioxide quantity might be decreases. But in the nature, simultaneously along with the plants, animals are there and they have the process of respiration. What is there? They are using the oxygen as an input for the process of respiration. Oxygen, we are breathing the air, taking the oxygen into the body, and which is being used for the making this energy available for the process of oxidation and other in the multi-stage reaction. This energy is being required and carbon dioxide is being given out. So respiration is consuming. If there is only animal group on the planet Earth and they are continuously consuming the oxygen, and gradually oxygen might be decreased. But this in the nature, this process of photosynthesis and process of respiration are in the equilibrium conditions. Now, in the process of photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is decreasing. Carbon dioxide is decreasing and releasing oxygen. In the respiration process, oxygen is consuming and releasing carbon dioxide. So this particular two process of photosynthesis and respiration are in equilibrium. And then this, when we monitor, when in the surrounding environment, when we analyze the water or when we analyze the air for the presence of carbon dioxide and presence of oxygen, oxygen is 20.9% in the air and carbon dioxide is 0.035 ppm in the air. Means And in the nature, there is a unique kind of the plant number on the biosphere. Number of plant is higher. Maximum biomass of the plant biomass is being there. So definitely, because of their large number, they are consuming the carbon dioxide. So in the air, gradually less amount of carbon dioxide is being there, whereas excess oxygen is being released. On the planet Earth, smaller number of the animals is being served. So they are consuming the oxygen and releasing the carbon dioxide. This particular and remaining some additional oxygen is being remain. And whenever we measure the oxygen in air and carbon dioxide, which remain constant. And this particular unique kind of the equilibrium system present in our environment, which is responsible for having this parameter constant. The same, whether it is aquatic ecosystem, terrestrial ecosystem, these kinds of the equilibrium conditions in physical, chemical, and biological properties, which is responsible for keeping this environmental parameter in the particular range, average constant value. And this average constant value, which is needed for the favorable for flourishing the living organism. So this particular in our the environment, we find that these kinds of the equilibrium, which is responsible for maintaining the balanced and the dynamic systems, when in the equilibrium conditions, they are maintaining this balance. On our planet Earth, this thermal balance is being established since many billion years of the Earth's metamorphic changes and presence of the plants, animal, and their interactions. The atmospheric gas composition in the water body, when we check the pH of the water body, which will also constant for the particular time period, because their process of excretion of nitrogenous waste and process of leaching the H plus, getting the H plus ion free by the weak acidic substance dissociation, and overall pH of this particular remain water body constant. So there were many of the phenomena which scientists have reported present in the equilibrium conditions, and these equilibrium which is responsible for having a constant conditions on our planet Earth, and which is favorable for the growth of the living organism. So we explain that our balanced environment, which suppose in our surrounding temperature extreme low, and that is remain for the long period, we call that as the extreme environmental conditions. If temperature is too much high, then we called it as the extreme condition. But when it is in the particular range, we called it as the optimum conditions, and balanced environment is making this particular parameter. There were many of the parameters existing in our system, because on our planet Earth, I think I would like to give the permutation combination. In our English literature, alphabet, A to Z alphabets, limited alphabets are being there, but by permutation combination, by using the probability, billions types of the words is being there. And by arranging the different words in the sentence, we find the huge literature is being there. So if few limited number of 20 to 24 alphabets, A to Z alphabets are responsible for permutation combination, billions types of the words, and huge literature which can be encoded in that particular literature. Now on our planet, 118 element is being there. Every element is having their own reaction potential. So by permutation combination, there were billion types of the molecules, mixture, compounds, and other. There is a huge probability of having this permutation combination. And but from these prominent links, which is responsible for having the equilibrium in certain conditions, and which is responsible for maintaining this particular Earth in balanced conditions. And many million years, these kinds of the balance which is being remain, and which is giving the stable environment on our planet Earth. We balance the environment, we categorize as the stable environment on this one. Nowadays, this particular balance, which is established since many billion years, this dynamic parameters equilibrium, which is being established, this parameter is being disturbing. If we consider our atmospheric, the temperature, average value, if from the mean sea level, as we move toward the higher altitude, gradually temperature decreases up to the certain level. But when we measure the average temperature of the atmosphere, which is constant, but in the recent last 6 to 7 decade or recent last 60 to 80 years, this atmospheric balance which is being disturbed and which is responsible for the climate change that, and if we consider in the last 6 to 7 decade, through the global warming phenomena, average air temperature has been shifted by 0.6 degree temperature. And if the average value of 0.6 is being shifted in the atmosphere, which is responsible for bringing the climate change. And today we are worried about that because whatever it be, the balanced condition on our planet Earth is a result of many billion years. If we consider the Earth 13.8 billion years before that Big Bang theory was there, as far as our planet Earth is concerned, 8.9 billion years before that it was the hot molten magma, and once upon time that water has been received during this period, and later on few billion years before the first creature was developed on our planet Earth, and many billion years are required to have these balanced conditions. And as far as geological time scale, this 60 to 18 years is very meager time period. Just like if a person is surviving 100 years and from his life, a millisecond means 1 second, 1,000 part or microsecond, that particular part, if person is surviving for 100 years and throughout this micro or nanosecond like part, very small part, many 13.8 billion year before that one, from 8.9 billion years Earth evolutionary history is being there, in which this 80 year is very, very less. Means if what is nanosecond, micro, and the nano or picosecond, if 1 second has been divided into 1,000, that is called microsecond. And if 1 microsecond is divided into 1,000, that called the picosecond. Likewise, if person is surviving 100 years and in which the fraction of this his second is the time period. Likewise, in the Earth's evolutionary process, in the geological time scale, this 60 year is very meager period. In this particular last 60 year, average atmospheric value has been shifted by 0.6 degree. And today we are experiencing the abnormal rainfall, abnormal storms, tornadoes, and abnormalities in the environment. The drought is being increasing, the storm and cloud bursting phenomena, storms, tornadoes, and other. Only if 0.6 degree variation in the atmospheric temperature is responsible for disturbing the hydrological cycle, which is established since a many billion years. All these kinds of the disturbance, there were not only in the hydrological cycle, there were many of the systems which are disturbing. And many of the variable parameter from the dynamic systems are altering, which is responsible for creating the certain environmental problems. And these many of the problems are resulted because the balanced condition, imbalance is being there. Equilibrium is being disturbing, which is present in the dynamic parameter that is changing and which is responsible for these kinds of the changes. Ultimately, the variability in our environment, which is responsible for imparting the stability to our environment. And this stability has been achieved by the many billion years of the evolutionary process through the maximum diversity and balanced conditions is providing the stability to our environment. This stable environment is become unstable because of this particular changing in the environmental conditions. We called it as a disturbed environment, contaminated environment. And nowadays we are elaborating the air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, sound pollution, and other kinds. Overall, environmental disturbance, large number of the environmental problems become a part of this, the disturbance in which are responsible for shifting or altering the stability of our environment. So this particular is the recent age, the problem of this particular changing the stability of the environment. Today, if we observe our the environment is changing because many times just we are using, because this whatever it may be the environment we are enjoying, which is a result of many billion years evolutionary process. And if suppose there is one thing, suppose this is a good which is that this particular machine, which is made up by the engineers and other, this is for the specific purpose for communicating. So at the time of designing the spare parts, we know the composition of that particular subunit. And if there is all the subunits are arranged compactly and their function is being arranged, and we get the desired output for proper communication and other. If there is a change in the any particular composition, if any particular subspare or unit, subunit is not working, then that system is not working. If the system is man-made, because we know what are the component in this. So when there is a problem in this particular system is not useful for the communication, then we understood that this, for example, if in the mobile we are not able to listen the noise, then we may say there might be problem in the speaker unit and other. And which unit is not working properly, we can find out because we know each and every subunit functions. And if there is a problem, we can replace that one, we can recover that one. But as far as our environment is concerned, this particular thing is not possible because there is no role to the man to have our environment. We itself, we are the part of the environment, and we have not made any environment. There is no role to the man to have this. Hence, what is difference? If suppose there is a problem in this mobile systems, if its speaker is not working or other, we can replace that one and we can restart the function of this particular systems. But same principle is not applicable as far as our environment is concerned, because in the environmental problem, when there is a degradation, because there is no role to the man to have this, we don't have any, don't have the detailed understanding of our environment. 1 minute, please. Hello, madam. हाँ बोला कुणाला बरं देऊन टाकेन मी बरं मी आता लेक्चर मध्ये माझं झालं की मी देऊन टाकेन. Okay, sorry for the interruption. So there is no role to the man to this, because then how we are understanding our environment. I would like to share a simple example. Suppose there is a forest in my premises, in our premises. What is the role of the natural forest? Because in the nature, forest is there on our planet Earth since a time memorial, many million and million years. When the plants have been evolved, from that time it has been occupied by the Earth's surface. But we don't know what is the role to that one. First, what we do, we remove that particular forest. And when forest is being removed from the particular area, then what are the consequences, changes which we are experiencing in that? Then we understood that if forest is there, these changes might not be there. Means first we are disturbing the natural environment, and then we are understanding the appropriate function. What is the role to that one, of that component in the environment? Likewise, we, by trial and error, we are understanding our dynamic environment. And as our system is a result of many billion years evolutionary process on our planet Earth, and there is no role to the man to have these particular systems. Hence, first we degrade the part, and then we understood the importance, and then we try to protect that particular. Overall, on our planet Earth, in early stages, we don't have any idea that there were many of the parameters which are in the balanced conditions. But later on, through the experiment, through the exercise, and through the continuous monitoring, we are using the term monitoring. The meaning of monitoring is time to time inspection, time to time checking. By using the appropriate methodology, we measure the certain parameters, and we have the data, the directories of the data, and from which we have concluded. And regarding the balanced environment, the statistics regarding the various environmental parameters we have collected, and we have concluded that our environment is in the balanced condition. Many parameters which are in the equilibrium conditions, and they are responsible for having the stability to our environment and other. And if the dynamic parameter, their equilibrium is disturbing, automatically this there will be imbalance in the environment, and this imbalance in the environment will make that system vulnerable for the immediate change in that particular system. So this particular part, the if disturbance in the natural balance, which is responsible for having the environmental problems. Now there are, if we consider these kinds of the disturbances, there are so many types of the activities which we categorize responsible for changing the dynamic systems, for changing the balance of the environmental conditions. And there were many of the humans activity, and there were many of the other activities which are responsible for the disturbing the environmental equilibrium conditions. It means the balanced environment is making unbalanced, and the large number of the environmental problems which are existing in that particular area. How many kinds of the environmental problems are being there? There are, if someone asks, how many are the environmental problems? Immediately, as a common layman, we can say the air pollution, water pollution, the sound pollution, noise pollution. Likewise, the simple only regarding the pollution only, air, water, soil pollution. And we can identify there the status that this is severely polluted, less polluted, moderately polluted, severely polluted. Likewise, we can predict our scenario, etc. And in early stage only, when we are understanding of our environment, even in the learned person also, there is very least understanding about this particular subject. This is a very complex and very, very important, because each and every living organism survival, which is depending upon our environment. And but there is a little known about our dependency and other. But nowadays, because many of the parameters which are influencing and disturbing this normal balanced conditions and making our environmental vulnerable or prone to the drastic changes, which is making uninhabitable for the living organisms. If these kinds of the changes, disturbances which is being taken place in our environment, very soon our environment become uninhabitable for the man, and people cannot survive in the degraded environment, contaminated environment. Then how many kinds of the problems are being there? Early time, when this particular subject, because this particular subject having a very little history as far as scientific arena is concerned, 50 to 60 or 70-year history is being there for this particular subject. 50 to 60 years history is being there. Very recent subject is being incorporated in the educational curricula. Very less is known about this. But if in the early stage, if someone is asking what are the environmental problem, air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, sound pollution, only these kinds of the things only. Even when I was working in the university departments, and I know that even at the higher level authority also, there is very least understanding about the severity of this particular subject and environmental pollution problem, etc. I remember very well when Honorable Supreme Court has given a verdict regarding the environmental education compulsory to all faculties, and Supreme Court has given a verdict, and decision of that Supreme Court is to be implemented for the educational institution from UGC, NCERT, and all these are implementing this. And as a 6-month compulsory course become a part of the curricula by virtue of this Supreme Court decision. And at that time, when this is forcefully implementing, we know some students who have completed MSc, they want that this Supreme Court decision become an act, and every university, every college, they have to appoint the teacher for teaching this environmental study course, 6-month environmental study course. And they have given their memorandum to the Honorable Vice Chancellor of BAMU University, former university, and they have appointed a committee for the proper implementation of this particular in our this BAMU jurisdiction. At that time, I was working as a head of the department in the university department, and under the dean, chairman of the dean, they have constituted one committee, some experts from the other colleges, and myself as a head of the department. I was also the member of that committee. Dean was the the science faculty dean was the chairman, and they have been recommended to us, give the model how to implement this in the university jurisdiction. At that time, what the students, which they have given the memorandum to the one honorable vice chancellor, they have provided the document, they have collected the certain information under the Right of Information Act. They have requested the information to the all college who is teaching this particular subject in the college, environmental study course, and they have collected the data, principals. They have allotted this data to the Marathi teacher, English teacher, non-subject, and most of the botany, zoology, and other teachers, they are, because this is an additional burden. Supreme Court's decision, they cannot violate, that is to be followed, but no one is serious about that. If workload is being there, they are allotting this workload to the Marathi. And under the Right of Information, what the information they have hand over to us, which they have collected, who is teaching this? In the university jurisdiction, teachers, non-subject teachers, they are teaching this. And very poor approach is being there. The student is demanding that upon the MSc Environmental Science student for teaching this particular subject in the college, just simple demand was there. But this, as I have mentioned that, I would like to put my opinion regarding this particular implementation of the 6 month. And what I have observed, at that time also, I found that this particular subject is being taken very casually by many of the educational institutions, because as the Supreme Court has enforced that this subject is to be taught in the school colleges to the from KG to PG and to all faculty, whether it is engineering, whether it is MBBS, or whether it is arts, commerce, any management faculty, everyone has to teach this particular 6 month course. And that become an additional burden to the institutions for the implementation. But there is no provision of the teachers and other. Then how to teach this? For that purpose, we have given some recommendations, collect the fees, then appoint the CSB teachers or consolidated base salary teachers for them, divide them annually, appoint them, and conduction regarding that one. But fact is that this particular subject is being not taken seriously. We are taking very casual approach as far as environmental education. In that we will discuss one. But this particular, we have discussed that what are the unique conditions even in the billions of the solar systems present in the galaxies and other. But our solar system is very unique, and in which the planet Earth, which is unique, very having the unique conditions, and which is responsible for flourishing the living organism. There might be a chance, probability is being there, having the similar scenario in the planetary systems, but far away from the solar systems. That's why our planet Earth's environment is very precious and unique. But this is being disturbing. And when we try to analyze the causes for the degradation, we categorize some are the natural causes, some are the man-made. And some natural causes, volcanic eruption and other, they are contributing some pollutant, but their intensity is less. But man-made causes, nowadays, humans' activity is the principal cause for having the degradation in the environment. And in the early stage, what even our learned people, they highlight what is there in the environment: air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, noise pollution. Do not use diesel, use the petrol. Likewise, the casual approach is being there of the higher authority. When students are meeting to the director of higher education of those times, and they are requesting to that this is a very important subject which is to be taught very systematically and by heart to the students, so everyone can aware about this particular subject. Then those time higher education directorate, they says that what is there in the environment? There is the air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution. Do not use for avoiding the air pollution. Do not use the diesel. Do not burn this particular fuel in excess. Or for the reduction of the water, do not dispose the particular these things. These are very simple manner. Anyone can discuss this one. Why there is need to have the specialized teacher who is the opinion of the higher authority who is looking after the education system of this one. Very casual approach is being there till today. And there is one more, this is my personal opinion. There is one more things in our educational systems from the Maharashtra. I think during the 1970s, non-grant was the one of the object which is being there. Their government is sanctioning the college on the non-grant basis. And in this particular, there is a demand for the students, because granted subject, when they pass the graduation, post graduation to the granted subject, then there is a chance to join at least as a teacher, and the students are taking admission to the chemistry, physics, biology, and other the general traditional subjects from the arts, commerce, science faculties and other, because there is a chance that job opportunity as a teacher. But as far as this particular subject, from the particular point, all the newly incorporated subject is to incorporate it in the non-grant basis. And as subject is being taught to the student, but subject is on the non-grant, there is no chance to appoint. Even this particular subject is being not studied properly by the student, because they says that what is the use if we complete the graduation in this subject, there is no chance to get the job on the permanent post for as a teacher for this particular non-grant has the spoil this particular subject worldwide. What is this? If someone asks me, what is the significance of the current days, this particular subject? If we assess the grant allotted for studying the world is spending, if 100% amount is more than 65 to 70% in the field of the environmental science, and in the other area remaining grant is being distributed in the other basics and other subjects worldwide. Huge amount of money by the private sector, other governments, international organizations, they are spending. But it was unfortunate in India and in our Indian arena, this subject has been listed as a non-grant subject, and it is being permission to start this subject is given, but the no permanent appointment. So students are also not happy with this one. So this non-grant is also one of the causative factor for this one. But being important, because if today we have to tackle the issue, if particular matter is to be handled at the particular rate or at the specific time, if we are not performing this particular activity at the specific time, if we are not controlling this particular problem at the specific time, then the issue will be not in our hand. And at that time, there will be no technical expertise with us. No, because very casually we are teaching and studying this particular subject. No technical expert to tackle these issues. We have to see toward that one, and ultimate the degradation and further degradation and deterioration which is in there. How this happens? Because golden time should not be missed to this one. I would like to share a very good example. If the conservative measures or protective measures is being not taken at the appropriate time, this will be responsible for the severe loss. I would like to explain a very simple example in the biological sciences, specifically in the zoology, in the wildlife. We know we are explaining the certain species as a extinct species. For example, bird like dodo, we are explaining as a extinct species. Mammoth, woolly mammoth, extinct species. Then the certain species, very good number of the species which we categorize as a extinct. Indian cheetah, extinct species. Likewise, in the North American continent, where USA, Canada, and other in that North American continent, passenger pigeon. Nowadays, we have to observe the passenger pigeon when we are studying. Then this passenger pigeon is extinct species. No presence is being there. So this particular, there are the certain ornithologists. In 1850, 1850, in 1850, one famous ornithologist from the USA, they have taken the review of the passenger pigeon. Just like in India, the sparrow was there in everywhere. in front of the house, we find the herds of the sparrows, etc. once upon time. Likewise, the passenger pigeons were everywhere in the North American continent. And the passenger pigeon, there is one famous ornithologist, Alexander Wilson, who has studied the wildlife birds in the USA. During the 1850, he has reported the flock of the passenger pigeon, single flock, having the bird more than 2 billion birds in the single flock. And he measured the width of that flying flock and length. And by using the principle of the extrapolation, he predicted the approximate number of the birds in single flock, indicating 2 billion birds. 2 billion, million, 1,000 into 1,000 million. It means 1,000, 10 raised to 3. 10 raised to 3 into 10 raised to 3, that is 1 million is equal to 10 raised to 6. 1 million into 1,000 is equal to billion, that is 10 raised to 9. You can imagine that number of the birds in the single flying flock, and few kilometer length this is being there, indicating that the passenger pigeons was abundant in the North American continent. But this passenger pigeon is acting as a good food. Its flesh is very tasty, and this is being killed by the man. At that time, during the 1850, shotgun invention was not there, and they are trapping the birds, but hunting and with the other tools and technique which is being there. But what happens? The discovery of the shotgun and other which is being there, and this shotgun which is being starting to use for hunting, and rate of hunting of this bird has been increased in the North American continent. What happens? There is a race to hunt this particular, and in the market, this hunted birds which is being sold in the market and money has been earned by the people. The commercial hunting is being started in this particular passenger pigeons. And at that time, the ornithologists, they are claiming that in this particular bird, hunting rate has been increased significantly. If the same is being continued very soon, this particular bird's population will be in the danger. And in the 1860, this particular bird, because they are studying the birth rate and death rate, they found that death rate is higher than the birth rate, and they are categorizing that particular species as the endangered species, probably endangered species. And during the 60 to 70, this particular, after the invention of the shotguns and as the commercial hunting has been started, and when the people identify that XYZ person is earning the money by hunting these birds, they getting the good money. So many people are entered in the business of this commercial hunting, and they are searching the new tools for hunting trapping these particular birds. Many of the scientists, many of the people, they are using the behavior of this particular flock pigeon. What they are trapping the live pigeon and tying as a tool pigeon with the help of the thread or rope, and they are spreading the food grain. And when the flying flock of the passenger is observing that some bird is picking the food grain, so the curious flock is dropping, and by using the net and in hundreds, multiple of the hundreds, the birds are trapping by using the net. Instead, by the trapping or killing of the birds by the shotgun, trapping of the birds by the net, and other kinds of the tools and technique is being extended. And after the 1870, after the 65 to 17 period, it has been categorized as a greatly endangered species. And many of the peoples, they are hunting this one, and large number of the people started the hunting of this, and the flesh of this particular bird is very tasty. Their feathers are being used for making the hats and fancy articles. Likewise, the other commercial utilization of this particular species, increasing the hunting. What happens gradually? They are losing. Simultaneously, what happens? The peoples, they are developing. Agricultural expansion is being there. Industrial expansion is being there. And the bird is losing their habitat. What happens? The birds were categorized as a greatly endangered along with this particular developmental activities during the 70s. And they say that there is a strong need to protect this particular species within the time. And later on, they are declaring the certain birds habitat as a sanctuary for the birds and other things they are declaring. But in the nature, what is happening, they have the very typical breeding habit. They lay the only one eggs. And there is probability of having the high mortality throughout the bird life, because the survivorship curve of the bird is the diagonal in the population dynamic study. And because of this particular threat and commercial exploitation, this particular species were categorized as a greatly endangered species. And effort has been applied. There are some habitat and other which can be declared as a protected area where person cannot hunt or kill. But in the other area, illegal hunting which is being continuously going on. And in 1880, this particular species which was categorized as a greatly endangered species, and there is need to offer the protection. Then they are implementing the conservative programs, management programs and other, but these efforts are not sufficient. As a greatly endangered species up to 1880, later on they have been started to protect in the sanctuaries, national parks and other protected areas. Their live birds is being collected in the, and they're trying to artificial breeding. But what is happening during this period, habitat destruction, industrial expansion and other the activities which is being flourished in the Latin America and other industrial activities which have disturbed the habitat, agriculture expansion which have increased, and species were categorized as a extinction prone species. And the extensive effort has been applied during the 1819 and other, and they are trying to protect. But illegal killing, capturing, and even earlier breeding ground were free, but in the breeding season, in the breeding ground, commercial hunting and other practices which has intensified the increase of hunting, and their number gradually decreased in the surrounding environment. And after the 1900, occasionally these birds are seeing what today we are observing. Maldok in Maharashtra, actually in the Solapur district, it is being there. Hardly 5 to 6 pair might be there somewhere else, but that is as good as extinction. Likewise, the extinction prone species in the 1910, this particular species which was identified, occasionally it is being reporting sighting in the particular. From the species, the experts, they are desperate to recover and increase the breeding, but because of the environmental pollution and other, their breeding was not at the appropriate rate. Commercial artificial breeding was failed in that one, and nothing is being there. These birds and other which is being kept in the zoos. Last representative of passenger pigeon was died in the Cincinnati Zoo of USA. Cincinnati Zoo of USA, last 1940, 1914 साली, last representative of the passenger pigeon. Once upon time, Alexander Wilson in 1850, 2 billion birds in single flock, and such 2 to 3 flocks which has been reported by these ornithologists. Just 7 decades, that species has been extincted from that one. So this particular, during the 80s, the scientists are desperate to recover their population, but once their birth rate, death rate has been crossed, it was not recovered. So once the golden period has been lost, and if the effective conservative measure is being not applied, then ultimate result is the extinction like this in the passenger pigeon. Same principle is applicable to the good number of the environmental issues. There are hundreds of the environmental issues nowadays, thousands, we can list the thousands. Many of them are the local issues, regional issues and other. But these particular issues, if these are not tackled within the time span, then there might be a big problem. Though we are desperate to recover our environment, but it will be not in our hand. And if we have to protect this particular our environment, then we have to look after in the golden period only, implement the conservative programs, and after the implementation of the conservative program, only then and then we are able to protect our environment. I think now it is about 4:30. We will take the gap and then we will
Yes,
discuss
sir.
the role of environmental education. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. How many are active now?
Sir, all are active and attentive,
Okay,
fully
no
attentive to the
problem, no
session.
problem. Now we will take the break and later on we will continue for the environmental education. Okay.
Okay,
That
sir.
one I will point out that one. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Should we have to start? Yes, we can
Yes, sir.
start now.
Yes, sir. We can start now.
Yes. Okay. As if we have observed that there is a need to have the technology which is being, or there is need to control the particular problem at the specific time period. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to restore the degraded environment. Now, in understanding, now, if we consider the environmental problem before going to the environmental education and other, a little part actually I have to sum up. If suppose I am studying the environmental problem, then this particular environmental problems, if I am studying the home to home, the different problem which is being there in the different place. So which is the major issue? How to identify which is the major environmental issue? Because nowadays our earth is facing the thousands of the environmental problems.
Yes, there might be network issue. Wait, I'm calling to Gaurav sir. I talked to Amol sir. Sir is joining now.
शेअर करा. इथून एवढा वेळ लागतो. Sorry for interruption. Some problem was there, and suddenly the slide become unavailable. Okay. Now, as far as this particular problem is concerned, we have find out that the certain issues which become a local issue, certain become a regional. But when we try to find out actually which is the major problem we are facing, let us consider one small area. And if we are visiting home to home, then we will find the different problems which is related to the environment in the different home. There is a variability even at the home level. If we consider the variability at the home level, then we try to find out which is the major problem in most of the homes. Then we can find out that particular problem become a major problem of that particular area colony. Let us consider the city municipal corporation. Then if we are finding the problem in the slum area, they have their own environmental problem in the slum area. Then big multi-storage complex, we will find the particular problem in the multi-storage complex. The colonies with the small bungalows and other, if we try to find out the problems in the houses, but when we summarize the particular type, in the particular group area, residential area, we will have the dominance of the particular type of the environmental problem. For example, slum area will have the typical type of the environmental problem, whereas the thick complex and complex building will have their own environmental problems, whereas the separated row house and separate bungalows, isolated tiny bungalows, they will have the own problem. Now, which was the dominating or which are the common problem in the particular type of the society which will reflect that dominance of that particular problem? And then if we try to review what are the major environmental issues in the big cities, then we have to we have to consider the intensity and other problems, because how we can rank the particular environmental problem, that is technical issues, and depending upon the impact, how many people are suffering, how it is being affecting, and how it is reflecting, depending upon, we have to rank. And this ranking, and for understanding these particular environmental problems, what we have to do, first we have to identify whether it is a natural problem, whether it is man-made problems. But generally, as I have mentioned that few minutes before, most of the problems are related to the human's developmental activity. And when we take the review, which kind of the environmental problems are prevailing in the particular area, or which kind of the environmental problems are occurring in the particular area, then this particular assessment, which is a very crucial, because we have to highlight the dominated problems. Just like that, if I am discussing what is the problem of particular family, what is the problem of major environmental problem of the colony, then what will be the major problem of that particular cities, then what will be the major problem of the particular taluka, what may be the major problem of the district, what may be the major environmental problem of the states, what are the major problem of the country, what are the continent, the Asiatic or other continent, likewise, what are the major problem of the world from home to world. And when we try to categorize by considering the intensity, by considering their nature, because environmental problems, depending upon their impact, they were categorized as a local problem, regional problem, national problem, international problem, depending upon the occurrence or representation of that particular problem. So these particular the aspect related to the environmental problem is to be understood before solving the particular problem. And when we consider the today's environmental problems, major environmental problem in which the variety of the pollution problem, in which air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, sound pollution, thermal pollution, radiation pollution, pesticide pollution, various kinds of the pollution problem, health hazard, various kinds of the health hazard due to the toxic substance, poisonous substance, toxic substance, and other. There might be global environmental issues such as climate change, acid rain, global warming. There were many of the local problems, regional problems, and the particular areas. And every problem will have its own intensity. And this intensity is depending upon their impact on the particular, how many people are suffered, and impact can be assessed in terms of the loss of the rupees, in terms of the loss of the health. And today, this particular various criteria which is being applied for categorizing, and we categorize minor problem, major problem, regional problem, national problem, or the global problem. And after that one, we have to apply the effort to mitigate those kinds of the problems which we exist. Regarding the mitigation, first, if we are applying effort to the problem which having the minimum impact, then there will be no positive significant, because major problem remains as it is. And if we are trying to apply the effort to the proper manner with the proper intensity, then we are, which is going to give the result for that one. And depending upon the impact of any particular environmental issues, we could see there were the environmental issues which will have the minimum impact. There were the certain environmental issues which will have the maximum impact. Then we could see in the particular area only, there will be the certain group or peoples or which is exposing to the environmental problem. Then we can categorize them as a local environmental problem. Sometimes the entire countries which is reflecting the common issues, and then we find that particular problem at the national level or even in the continental level or global level. When we consider the impact, we find both the two kinds of the impact. Direct impact means whenever there is a problem which is directly affecting on that systems, direct impact, and many of them are the indirect. Generally, most of the environmental problems, indirect impact is being dominating. That's why to find the solution to the particular environmental problems at the particular time is very, very important. And if all these problems are there, we must have to find the solution or mitigation, that is intensity reduction. There is not a single environmental problem in our surrounding environment. We cannot, for example, air pollution is being there. We cannot stop zero. We cannot make the zero air pollution, because there are the certain inherent activity which are necessary to the man. We categorize that as a basic need, for which we have to burn the fuel and we are emitting the certain amount of the pollutant. So in such cases, what is in our hand, there are the certain acts and activities where we have to reduce the intensity of that problem. Additional emission of the pollutant can be reduced, mitigational measures for the reduction of the intensity. And we can develop the technologies for the mitigation measures as a control measures, development of the technology. For example, if excess carbon is being there, then we can collect that carbon, convert into the white ice or other chemical conversion to the other. Likewise, technologies and other parts which are playing very crucial role, conservative measures, managerial practice, along with the mitigational measures, in the control or in finding the solution, we observed most common thing in our environmental problem. Ignorance in the society is the major issues. And there is a need about the environmental education. Education about the environmental component is need. This particular need, which is identified by the Supreme Court of the India, because when we know in India, I think I would like to give this particular why Supreme Court identify environmental education is an important tool for the mitigation of the environmental problem. Remember, what is my statement? Proper environmental education is an important tool to mitigate, reduce the intensity of the environmental problem. Environmental education is necessary. And education to KG to PG and all faculty. This was made by the Supreme Court decision because Supreme Court is convinced that, or they agreed the argument of the advocate in this particular case, who plead that if this particular environmental education, proper environmental education is being given among the society, then this reduction of the certain environmental problem or mitigation of the intensity of the environmental problem will be done. And Supreme Court is convicted to this, and they have given the verdict. I think many times we just only refer the Supreme Court judgment, which case was there. Many times we don't know about this one. There is, we know the famous the legal activist in India, MC Mehta. You refer in the on the net, MC Mehta, who is the Supreme Court's advocate, and there was a case in Uttar Pradesh, the Uttar Pradesh near the Mathura oil refinery was established, and that oil refinery, from that, it is low-lying area, Agra, that the smoke containing SOx, NOx, that oxides of sulfur, oxides of nitrogen, which are responsible for the acid rain in the Agra districts and Mathura and Agra region. And this acid rain, which is responsible for the destruction and deterioration of the Taj Mahal. And to protect the national monument like the Taj Mahal, the famous activist, environmental activist, he raised the he filed the suit against that particular developmental activity in the law of court. And this issue was reached to the Supreme Court. In the Supreme Court's the discussion, the MC Mehta given the argument that environmental education is needed for the mitigation of, and Supreme Courts accepted this particular view, and they have given the verdict, and the environmental education, which has been made compulsory from the KG to PG. I think many times we don't know the name of the people involved in this, but Supreme Court's decision become an act to, and that is implementation from Kashmir to Kanyakumari is mandatory to the every educational institution. And in that particular the case, the verdict of this particular Mathura oil refinery case has given this the compulsory environmental education, about which I have given my opinion about that one. But this environmental education is one of the important tool. And today, now worldwide, the peoples are implementing this one, giving the proper environmental education, and they are trying to arrest or reducing the intensity of the many of the environmental problem. Worldwide, for the reduction of the global issues such as ozone depletion, climate change due to the global warming, greenhouse effect, global warming, which is resulting the climate change, or ozone depletion due to the photochemical the reactions, that is due to the SOx, NOx, or oxides of halogenated hydrocarbons, which is responsible for the ozone hole and other. All these issues, their intensity can be mitigated with the help of the environmental education, that view. And there were many of the cases where this proper environmental education can reduce this particular. So this particular issues, which are global one, like rising the sea level, melting of the ice, rising the sea level, and other kinds of the issues in which the excess contribution of the SOx, NOx, hydrocarbon, smoke, soot, the halogenated hydrocarbons in the atmosphere, all the industrial activities and other the vehicles and other which is emitting this air pollution, which is responsible for. And if we have to mitigate all these issues, then there is no any alternative to give the proper environmental education. This air pollution, water pollution, the industrial effluent discharge into the river, we could see these kinds of the phenomena, how the industrial effluents and they are contaminating at the different place, disposal of the industrial effluent, contaminating the water, and for the mitigation of the water, these kinds of the activity is being needed. There is need to have the proper environmental education, specifically the transport sector and other which is contributing the huge amount of the air pollutant which is responsible for the climate change. Expanding human population is also another major issues which is responsible for intensifying the large number of the environmental problems. There were good number of the problems which is being resulted due to these humans activity, in which air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, process of desertification, deforestation, losing of the biodiversity, and other many things which is being there, which is related to the process of desertification, decreasing biodiversity, species diversity, genetic diversity, ecosystemic diversity. Many health problem is being there due to the industrial pollution and other use of the pesticides, their problems, and n number of the problems which can be mitigated, though they have the very important each and every part in the sustainable development, they have the role. But if we have to mitigate this particular problem, then we have to give the proper environmental education to the society. Regarding this one, Supreme Court has accepted in the formal education systems, the children's mind is having a moldable capacity. Once the conservative attitude and once the environmental protection component has been incorporated in the young child's mind, throughout the life they are going to protect. Now, myself I'm on the verge of the retirement, and if suppose it will be very difficult to change the mindset, because what the 58 59 years during the survival, that mindset which is the strong one, it will be very difficult to change my mindset. But in the younger minds which are very having the molding capacity, and it can be molded significantly. And child psychology, which is a very important one, we know. I would like to share my own example. Though I am teaching in the university institution as a PG teacher, and during the home, when I'm taking the homework of my daughter during the first or second class, and I'm taught, I have the one my own experience when I am teaching her to mathematics, how to solve the mathematics problems, and in her class, what the teachers have given the steps. Sometimes I am directly jumping the certain steps. They says that, Papa, you don't know about this one. My teacher is solving problem like this one. Whatever it may be, the verdict given by the teachers, they are following. They means teacher statements, 100%. Younger minds are going to follow. And this particular child psychology, which is a very, very important, identify the Supreme Court and says that, yes, it is to be started from KG to PG, because once the conservative mindset has been developed in this young child, and if we are educating our younger generation through our formal education system properly, and if we are able to incorporate these conservative measures and environmental protection in the younger child, then we are able to reduce or mitigate the certain environmental problems. And that's why this particular, actually, how we are educating, that is the question. What is the role to the teachers? There is one book, I think, the special meetings, United Nations, UNESCO, and other IUCN, UNEP, they have organized the special meetings. And the Tbilisi conference, Tbilisi is the city from former USSR, where this in the 1977, this particular, after the Rio summit, 1992, after 5 years, to environment, in the Rio summit, this issue was discussed in the Earth summit. There is a need to implement the environmental education in all countries. What kind of the environmental education is to be given, for which the special session of the United Nations member country. 118 countries have participated in the BLISI, the various at the Paris, London stock, London level meeting is being there, Paris is being there. But in the BLISI city, this particular international agreement come into existence, and what kind of the education is to be given to the student in the formal education systems, how the in non-formal system also can play a crucial role in giving the environmental education. These things which is being discussed in the BLISI declaration. There are the certain authors in India, they have written the books on the environmental education. Someone has to read, because what kind of the education is to be given at the school level, primary school level, high school level, college level, and what kind of the education is to be given at the PG level. All this reference has been given in that one. And in that particular education systems, very countries model which is being Malaysian models for the particular solving the particular problem which is being recommended. At the same time, actually in India, speaking on Gandhi, now in this particular arena become a joke like the phenomena. But in that special session, in the environmental education, the Gandhian thoughts has been discussed, and what the Gandhi which has achieved in the by the people's mass movement, the same is to be employed for giving the environmental education. And special session was there for Gandhian thought for giving the environmental education. And Gandhi's statement regarding that our earth is having the sufficient to fulfill the needs of millions, but not the greeds of the single some. Likewise with that one, and many the things which is being discussed in that one, Gandhian principle, how this could be used. Various level, this issues is being discussed in international forum, and their resolution has been given with the aims, objects, what are the aims of the environmental education, what are the object of the environmental education, all they have given. With this, there is one Trivedi, name of the author is the Trivedi, who has written book on the environmental education, in which entire BLISI declaration which is being given. If you are opening your net, and you will get the BLISI declaration PDF. What kind of what should education system is being there, what is the role to the teacher, what is the role to the journalist, and other at the various level it has been discussed. But our Supreme Court has also accepted that this proper environmental education is to be given to this. Now, education that should have to sensitize this particular society. Until I am giving the education, I am passing the knowledge, but such an effective manner knowledge is to be transmitted in the younger generation. They should sensitize, and process of sensitization, how the person, example of the sensitization I would like to share. When I was there in Shivaji University, Kolhapur, working as a university like their professor in the Shivaji University, as a teacher in the Shivaji University. Near the university campus, there is Pratibhanagar area, where most of the military retired persons residing colony was there. Military retired persons are living in that colony, and there is daily kirana shop. One Karnataki person who is running that particular shop, and in evening, most of the university teachers, they are visiting that shop for purchasing the daily needs, required things to daily needs. And many people, that is always crowded that shop. And one day I was there for purchasing some things. And there was one retired person, age-old person, who is requesting the battery cell to his torch. And that shopkeeper has offered one battery to that retired person. When he looked that battery and read the company, what is his immediate action? I was also waiting in the queue for purchasing some goods from that shop. And that shopkeeper is arguing, sir, this is the battery company cell. Then he taken his hand. I don't want purchase this damn company cell. Let give the anyone. And shopkeeper is arguing him, sir, everyone is requesting, this is a multinational brand and very good sale is being there. At that time, that old person is shown that I don't want to give my money as a benefit to this company. Who is, I think you remember, that is the company Union Carbide, which is responsible for the Bhopal gas tragedy. At that time, Bhopal gas tragedy was a recent issue, 8-10 years. See, what he has observed, that company, multinational company, who is responsible for the Bhopal gas tragedy in India, and after their incidents, they are manufacturing the, along with the pesticide, there n number of the product in which battery cell, torch battery cells is being there, Union Carbide. Good quality cells is being there, but he don't want to purchase. I surprised and I attracted to her then, and then I asked, why, sir? That was which is that company? Then Union Carbide. I was I'm teacher of the environmental science. I know that incidents, and I'm discussing with that retired military person. It is a true science, because he is rejecting, he is boycotting the product of the such company which is responsible for the gas tragedy in India. Means once the person is sensitized, then he will definitely, if I am passing the knowledge, let us consider, I know the plastic is hazardous to the environment. I am explaining what are the sources of plastic, how the thin layer plastic bags are responsible for the problem, how Meteor River incidents, flooding intensity has been increased by the disposed plastic in the solid waste. N number of the example. And after the day, hour after hour, I am giving the lecture on the plastic. And during the end of the lecture, if there is a phone call from the home, please bring the some vegetables to home. And in evening, if I am carrying the vegetable full dozens of the plastic bag, that is, I have the knowledge, I have information, but that is not a sign of the sensitized person. If knowledge has been transmitted among the society person must think about that one and sensitize, means त्यांच्या संवेदना जागृत करणं, that sensitization, literal meaning. And the sensitized people will definitely participate in the conservative program. And if we have to offer the protection, we have to sensitize. Friends, here I would like to share this example. As few minutes before, I have mentioned that when the students have given the memorandum to our vice chancellor regarding the implementation of this 6-month course, and in that committee member I was there, and they are saying that I have refer that information, that teacher from the Marathi is teaching the environmental study course. How he will give the justification, who doesn't know the seriousness of the particular subject, and how he can give the justification to this subject? This environmental science, Honorable Supreme Court of India accept the principle that people has to be sensitized through the proper environmental education at the younger stage. And this sensitization is to be carried out by the skilled person. They have to transmit the knowledge, they have to send the information in the systematic manner. So people, the student will sensitize, and they will take the active part in conservative program. Now, if the student, if teaching this Marathi person, if is contributing the environmental science, how he will, whether he doesn't know the intensity of the subject, what he will transmit. I would like to compare this particular scenario with the one situation. What is that situation? I would like to share. There is a patient with the brain hemorrhage. Means there is a need of the good neurosurgeon to open the skull of that patient and do the surgery over the brain and restore the patient's health. But when patient has been transmitted to the hospital and neurosurgeon is not there, but any assistant working in that one is being there. And if there is no skilled teacher, there is no the surgeon who is opening his skull, but if that person is being available person in that hospital is opening the skull, result is the death of the patient. Likewise, in the environmental studies, if teacher from the environment is not there for teaching, and hence syllabus is being allotted to the Marathi or language person, whether English or any language person cannot justify that one. Likewise, the non-skilled, if no non-skilled person is opening the skull of the patient and ultimate result is the death. Likewise, the teaching of this particular subject by the non-skilled person to the student will be the destruction of that particular the subjects and other that is going to cause a long-term damage to that particular subject. Actually, this particular subject is to be taught by the particular experts, and sensitization which is necessary. Regarding the sensitization, there is one says, see, the Chinese also very, very clever in this. If you are thinking for the 1 year, plant the rice. If you are thinking for the few decades, then plant the fruit crops. And if you are thinking about the next 100 years, then give the proper education, because education is the one of the important tool which can be act as a society governing tool, and it can help to mitigate the particular problems. And as far as the mitigation of the environmental problem purpose only, if these particular skilled persons and other which are needed for this particular teaching. As far as environmental education is concerned, there are the aims, objective, goals which is being mentioned. As I have mentioned that in the Blissey conference, in their declarations, the aims and objectives definition. As far as education, it is a process of learning. And the behavioral scientist, learning by experience, learning by observing. There were many things we have to learn by taking the experience. There were many things we have to see first. That one we have to, if no one has observed the atom bomb, how it looks like, and if the student has been told that draw the picture of the atom bomb, and every student will have their own figure of the atom bomb, but when one show this is the atom bomb and show the picture structure, and then let them tell to draw the picture, then most of them will draw the similar diagram to that one, because learning is the process by experience, by observing the things. And as far as environmental education is concerned, there is a tremendous role to the teacher. There are many things we have to consider for giving the proper environmental education, because there were so many things which the students, they have to acquire the skill, they have to learn the many more skill and many experience exercise. There were many of the things. For example, in the forest, if flowers are there, what is the aroma? If we are not arranging the environmental field visit to the student, in the classroom, if we are teaching the forest ecosystems and grassland ecosystems and not showing into the field, it has zero impact. Because in the classroom, teaching of the environment in classroom is not there. Field visit and must and other. If during the field visit, if any student taking the aroma and the smell throughout the life, they are not forgetting that particular experience exercise. So learning by experience and other by field visits and other, which is become an integral part in the environmental education. Okay, regarding the what kind of the education should be there in the formal education system. For example, in the primary schools and other, making awareness about the particular issues, passing the information. In the high school, detailed understanding is being there. In the colleges, detailed understanding of the environmental problems, and for the PG level, problem solving capacity, skill should be acquired for that one. Likewise, steps has been recommended in the environmental education. But overall, this particular through the formal education systems from KG to PG, this environmental education has been made compulsory. Regarding if we have to bring the conceptual changes or if we have to bring the significant change in the environmental problems and other, we have to first give the proper environmental education through the formal education, so everyone can actively participate in the conservation problems. In the environmental education, this particular through the public systems, that is a community, this formal education system, it is to be given to that one. And environmental education must be given for the sustenance of the environment through the protection to that one. By reducing the intensity of the many of the environmental problems, we can create the awareness, and the aware person can actively participate in the conservative program. If there is my personal observation regarding the incorporation in the conservative programs. In the society, hardly 5 to 10% of the peoples, they are actively participating, because most of the society members are ignored. They don't have the knowledge, deep knowledge and detailed understanding about this. Once you have transmitted this information in the systematic manner among the society, then this particular knowledge, which can sensitize the people, and the sensitized people may actively participate in the conservative programs, and then it can achieve the results of the conservation. This particular, so focus of the environmental education is the younger generation through the formal education systems, whereas the development of the skill for the mitigation of the environmental problems and moral development in that one, and the active voluntarily active participation is expecting from the environmental education. In that particular book, I am not going to much detail over this particular, because in the formal education systems, what kind of the curriculum should be there. As I have mentioned that in the primary level, the awareness about this particular, passing the information about the environment, our surrounding environment, the component present in that one. In the high school level, the detailed understanding, field visit is to be organized for taking the experience. Once they see the particular scenario, they should be able to identify what is the balanced condition, what is the imbalanced condition, what is the problem, and how the things are working. By arranging the field work and field visit, we can give that one. In the colleges, the detailed understanding the problem, because all the environmental issues, because for understanding the particular environmental issues, we need a multidisciplinary approach. For understanding the all environmental problems in holistic manner, we have to use the social, economic, political, then physics, chemistry, biology, chemistry, all the disciplines, their basic principle is to be employed for understanding. And once the detailed understanding is being there at the postgraduate level, for acquiring the skill, problem solving skill, development of the technology, the PG student in this particular subject, which should have the skill to mitigate this particular problem, he should be able to give the solution to that problem. Skill-oriented education is expected at the postgraduate level. Likewise, the curriculum developments, the directive principle has been given in that one, in the Blissy Declaration, and what kind of the education is to be given, which is being given in that one. And specifically, if we have to protect our environment, then what to do for the protection of the environment, that is being explained with the help of the proper through the models and other this particular Malaysian model is recommended for the mitigation of the certain kinds of the environmental problems, and for taking the rational actions for mitigation of the certain environmental problems, and for rationalizations of the society action, these kinds of the environmental education through the formal education is being needed, which should sensitize the younger population, and they should actively participate in the conservative programs. Regarding this particular, the proper environmental education and curriculum, Albert Einstein statement, science without philosophy is just a mechanics. Likewise, here without the environmental education, conservation of the environment will be impossible. Likewise, we can state by that one, but sometime the proper environmental education, which will helpful for the mitigation of the environmental problems, and that is the only one way. Because after all, in that I have mentioned that Gandhian principle was also discussed in the Blissy Declaration, which was specially organized for the protection of the environment. In that Gandhian principle, in which Gandhian principle of the mass movement, which is to be followed in the environmental education, because in the society only limited section of the society is involved in the active participation for conservative measures. And if that particular is to be input, is to be increased, then it is to be sensitized by transmitting the information among the society member through the formal education as well as the non-formal system through the festivals and other kinds. And then once these peoples are activated, then automatically they will actively participate in the conservative program, and then we are going to get the result of that one. So in the environmental education, our focus must be on the reduction of consumption of any kinds of the natural resources, because when we discuss the consumption pattern, our human development is depending upon the use of the natural resources. And if we are offering the protection to the natural resources, automatically we are offering the protection to the environment. And we may able to achieve the principal aim of the sustainable development, etc. So for this purpose only, there is a need to give the proper education. And end of the pipe, this particular this education is to be reached to the common citizen. Not only, it should not be restrict only the certain section. Ultimately, it is to be through the formal education system, all younger generation to educate. In the middle age, through the community system, environmental education system, the middle age group is to be educated. And overall, the end up to the end to the pipe to protect the environment from the mass movement. Many of the people can actively participate, and they can reduce the environmental problems. Specifically, in the environmental education, the curricula related to the air quality, ecosystem, biodiversity, energy resource, other land use, water quality, and most of the resource and their utilization, how they are responsible for the degrading environment and how they is to be protected, conserved, with their related issues, which is to be incorporated in the curricula. I think in the curriculum, the air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, sound pollution, thermal pollution, pesticide pollution, all the radiation pollution, then people should know about the conservation. This conservation, the term conservation in Devanagari, Samvardhan, Kan and Sadver, these are two Latin words. From the term conservation come into existence, and the history for the evolution of this, Britishers, they have ruled more than 150 years in India. And in India, their important target is to the natural resource. Britishers, they required the good quality timber. For what purpose? For the construction of giant ships, cargoes, for transporting the raw material through the ocean transportation, giant ships and cargoes. And they don't want the local Indian as a competent for the wood, which is very luxuriantly present in India. Thick forest is being there. And that wood which is present, that is an important resource to the Britishers for development of that one. And in India, they don't want the local population as a competitor for exploitation of this particular wood. And they have appointed the conservator, whose duty is to offer the protection to the forest. And from the term Kan and Surveyor, the conservation term come into existence with the English literature in the Oxford Dictionary. With the English literature to offer the protection with this meaning, this term come into existence. And we know the Americans, that Webster, later on it has been incorporated in these definitive books. This conservation to offer the protection, meaning of word is to offer the protection. In Devanagari, Samvardhan. In the protection, suppose there is a lake having the fish, and I am conservator, I am guarding that one. And water is there, fish is there. I am not permitting to take a single liter of the water and single fish from that one. I am guarding, I am prohibiting. That guarding is not a good sign of the conservation. I need water. Whatever would required quantity of water, I can take from that pond. I am hungry, I can take some fish of that one. I cannot collect all the fish, I cannot utilize all the water. But some required quantity is to be taken, and other quantity is to be maintained, that one. So required thing, in the conservation, what is your optimum need, that is to be fulfilled. Excess utilization that is to be avoided. And with this particular term conservation to offer the protection. And today we have to offer the conservation to the energy resource, environment, forest, all the kinds of the resources which is we are utilizing in our day-to-day life, human development, and we have to offer the protection to them. All the kinds of the natural resources on which our development is being there. All these utilization of natural resource are responsible for degradation of the environment, because in the development, degradation of environment is directly proportional to the utilization, purification, and exploitation, purification, and utilization of natural resource. It means human development and degradation of environment are the two sides of the same coin. When development is there, degradation is being there. But in the conservation, excess conservative, in the conservative measure, excess utilization is being avoided. In this, in the environmental education, along with this conservative components about the ecosystems, because ecology, it is a science of interrelationship, where relationship between living and non-living organism is being principally studied. And in the ecosystems are in the ecology, and in our environment, our relationship with the sun, energy, solar energy, sun, whether it is minerals, metals, soils, all the kinds of the resource, water, minerals, metals, forest, wildlife, grazing lands, everything, and their relationship with the man and other, which is being discussed. Then we should know which is the endangered, which is the abundant, which is the endangered, what is the status of the particular resource at the global level. All these issues related to the environment. Then the human health is depending upon the various aspects. We should know the environmental aspects of the health, human health. We are using the pesticides. We are, see, in our agriculture today, we are not able to get the labor in the de-weeding activity. What we are doing, we are purchasing the weedicides, Roundup or others, and we are spreading. When it reduce the growth, and then if we are maintaining the cattle, goats, etc., cattle for the milking, and we are that stunted growth grass, we are cutting that one and we are providing. Last week we are purchasing the weedicides from the market. Next week spreading on the crop, and after taking that the stunted growth of the crop as a food for the cattle, the residue of the pesticide next week in our body. Now today's in our body, all kinds of the pesticides and other which is being deposited. Once upon time, when our environment is free from these poisons and other, when person is being hospitalized, there is a chance. But for the simple disease now, if person is being hospitalized, then someone that person having the good health, for the simple reason it has been hospitalized, but now he is no more, because huge amount of the pesticides and other toxic compounds is being accumulated present in our body. And this good number of the health hazard problems are being there. And these kinds of the health hazards, which is related to the contaminants present in the drinking water, contaminants present in the fish, contaminant present in the food, then other kinds of the issues, toxic substance, poisonous substance, and other issues, heavy metals, and the pesticides, and the smoke, soot, all these kinds of this, which is related to health hazards, which is being disturbing. And we know in our day-to-day life, we are generating the waste, solid waste, liquid waste, and other resources. Waste disposal is becoming problems, and giving the proper the curriculum content about the disposal and other which should be needed. If the curricula without the solid waste or other, all these highlighted components, that will be the incomplete one, and we must have to give the thoughts about this important resource and their need of this particular resource to the mankind's and survival. If someone asks, sir, what is the use of environmental education? People should actively participate. Suppose I have studied about the water pollution and how the limited amount of water resource is available, that particular part has been taught. Then I will try to offer the protection to this water resource. Saving of the half glass of water. If I am taking the water full of glass for the drinking, I am taking the one sip and throwing out their back. whatever it may be the required quantity, if I'm drinking that one and not wasting, that is my contribution for the protection of that water resource. And there are good number of the resources in which water is there, fuel is being there, then agriculture and many of the food and other n number of the resources with day-to-day life. If we are offering the protection to these natural resources, it means automatically we are offering the protection to our environment. Regarding the environmental education, and its aim is to activate the society or develop the moral and for active participation in the society protection of the environment. Every day, every year, plantation activity is being carried out. Voluntarily plantation activity is to be carried out in the environmental education. If we could transmit this particular knowledge among the society 2-3 years before, we have our country, our entire world has been passed through the COVID pandemic, in which the importance of the oxygen cylinder, when oxygen is not there, how the persons have been suffered without absent or without oxygen, or if oxygen is not there in the hospital, how patients have lost their life. We have seen that one, and panic situation was there, and importance of the oxygen. And in the nature, oxygen is being cycled. Green plants are releasing this particular, they are consuming the carbon dioxide and releasing the oxygen. So plants, they are performing silently this duty of releasing that one. But if we have the house, and nearby house, if that house constructed tree trunk is responsible for making the cracks in the wall of the house, we try to cut that one. But we are forgetting, because that plant which is giving thousands of the liter oxygen, which is on the free of the cost. But if we are cutting the trees, twigs or other, then we have to think that this twig, how silently it is being releasing the oxygen. And if we are converting into the liters, then within the 1 day, 2 day, how much amount of liter of oxygen which is being released by that green plant, then in terms of the money, if we could understood, then one can stop the deforestation, cutting of the tree with haphazardly to offer the protection to this vegetation and other, this can be achieved. Many times water is important resource. When we are using this particular water, many times we are wasting this particular water. But offering the protection to this important resource, which is very, very important. Suppose rainwater harvesting is the very good program as a environmental protection, the contour trenching, contour plantation and other. And if during the rainy shower, if water is flushing in the drainage line or in the stream, and if I am giving the idea, if I need the water, pure, the good quality water, I pay the 20 rupees for the single liter. Non-treated 1 liter water is consider the cost 10 rupees. And if water is flushing, huge water is flushing during the flooding conditions, but not blocking by the rainwater harvesting or other systems. And then imagine or tell to the student, imagine that if water is flushing, 1 liter water means 10 rupees note. That water is nothing but notes are flushing. And with this simulations, if you are passing this knowledge among the student they will forget. They will try to protect this particular resource. So there are the different ways and means to transmit this particular in the education systems. We know most of the teachers, they have completed their B.Eds and D.Ed, in which how to transmit the information among the younger generation, that is very important. The important gestures, postures and proper information, if transmitted among the young, then it is going to give the good result. For sharing that one, I would like to give the good example. Let us consider in home, brother and sister is being there. Brother is younger and sister is elder, and brother is having arguing that sister have to give the full of glass water. Sister is engaged with the particular work and she is unhappy to assist him, his younger brother. She is not ready. And then if brother is making complaint to the mother, I am requesting the water to the sister, but it is not giving. But then when mother says that give the glass of water to the brother, and unwillingly, if sister is taking the glass and putting in front of with the gesture, that with the angry gestures, means that boy is getting the water, glass of water with the angry gesture. In another scenario, if there is a affection with that one, and if that small brother is requesting, Didi, give me a glass of water, then if she is politely handing over this gesture, which is very, very important as far as giving the knowledge, yeah, in the younger generation with the proper gestures. And this particular environmental education with the proper tool, proper gesture, proper system methods, which is to be transmit, then it is going to give the good result. Otherwise, if the information is transmitted without any impact, if no sensitization is being there, there will be no response for the protection of that particular environment. And overall, in the protection, if someone asks me, sir, protection of environment means what? I will say simple manner, I will say protection of natural resource means the protection of the protection of our environment. I think this particular means protection of natural resource from our environment is nothing but the protection of our environment. It means indirectly, whatever it may be the resource available, that may be forest, that may be grassland, that may be crop, that may be any domesticated life, wildlife, water, mineral, energy resource or other. If effort to offer the protection to that one, if suppose fuel, saving the fuel is making of the fuel. For example, if I have some work, I should have to visit the smaller area, closer area by walk. I should not take my vehicle, and I have to offer the protection to the petrol or diesel, whatever it may be. Small act, through the small act, if I am leaving the classroom, I have to switch off the fan, I have to switch off the electric equipments. If unwanted, there should not be utilization of the excess fuel for the transport, for the particular activity. Saving of the energy is saving of this particular nation. With that view, if we motivate our student through the environmental education, then it is going to give the good result. Through the school formal education systems and other, these kinds of knowledge is to be transmitted. Many times we know the peoples, they are engaged with this water being a scarce resource. Many times it is little quantity available, scarcity is being there, shortage is being there, and if we are utilizing in the proper manner, if we are following the rain harvesting technique, and if we are conserving it, then there will be no shortage and other. We have to transmit this particular knowledge. We have to explain the importance, link of the forest with the availability of the water, reduction of the soil erosion, availability of the genetic resource, floral diversity, faunal diversity, stability to these ecosystems. In the large scale, through the ecosystem study and other, these kinds of the information is to be transmitted through the formal education systems, and then it is going to give the good result. The people, they have to give the knowledge of about the generation of wastewater, then fuel and other these things. All the environmental component is to be transmitted, and protection, waste management is to be very, very important for the mitigation of the other dependent environmental problem, in which first segregation, then what is reuse, reusable material, use of the 3R principles and other can be utilized and can mitigate the environmental problems. If we consider the today's status of the environmental education in India, I have given my opinion. Generally, it is to be transmitted in very systematic manner among the younger generation. So all the young generation can actively participate in the environmental conservation program. It all the aspect which is to be reflected in their curricula, and it is to be taught properly, field visits, through visits and other. There were many of the principles which is being given, like the democracy's definition is being given, like environmental education through the environment for the environment. Likewise, it has been explained by many of the scientists, and effecting effective manner, environmental education is to be transmitted into the younger generation, not only in younger generation through the formal system, but it is to be transmitted through the non-formal systems among the society. And in the non-formal systems, festivals and other. There were many of the festivals, traditional festivals and other, which are related to the environment, through which we can understand the environment, we can prohibit the drastic change in that particular environment and other. So through the formal education system, non-formal education systems, we have to offer the protection to our environment. Regarding this environmental, proper communication skill is needed to transmit the appropriate information to, and if the students are contributing the mitigation of the problems at the local level, automatically it is going to give the good result at the global level. And this particular, the local to global, these issues is to be mitigated, for which the students is to be, and there is a tremendous role to the teacher. What teacher can do if there is a tremendous role to the teacher. In the conclusion, we can discuss about that. There is a role to the teacher, there is a role to the NGO, there is a role to the parent and all the stakeholders. They can actively participate through, as a parent, they can monitor their students, whether they are gaining the knowledge, they are actively participation in the conservative programs, or in the society member through the non-formal systems, whether all the peoples through the NGOs and other, these kinds of the information can be transmitted, and nation-wise this particular environmental conservation programs and their results can be achieved. At the last, I think I would like to highlight that there is a tremendous role to the teacher as far as the achievement of the conservation or protection of the environment, because the teachers can implant the conservative mindset in the younger minds, and throughout the life, then these youngers can follow this one. And if teachers are transmitting this knowledge in the systematic manner, communicating this to all the younger generation, transmitting as a knowledge and sensitizing the society member, then automatically it is going to give the good result. The proper environmental education through the formal education is the best tool to achieve the conservation and protection of the environment. At the last, I would like to give the education for the life, education through life, education throughout the life. This Mahatma Gandhi's, as I have mentioned, that there is a special session organized in the Blissey conference discussing the Gandhian thoughts, how it will be helpful for the protection. United Nations has taken the cognizance, but it is unfortunate in India, it become a Gandhi become a joke, and nowadays it become a very deteriorating the Gandhian principles and other, but basic things what he has given to the world, the entire world is behind him and following his principles. And in India, it is unfortunate, but till there is a need, there is a role to the teachers. Instead of making the politics among these parties regarding the environment, this Gandhian thought, it is to be introduced, or that is to be make aware our younger society, younger generation, because we have got the independence, and in this generation, the people, they don't know the role of the Mahatma Gandhi as far as independence or independent of India, but our ancestors, our relatives, and the people, they have observed this, and young generation, we don't have observed the struggles for this independence, and what the thought he has given to the Gandhi has given to the world, because these particular we are missing link. And as a teacher, I feel all the teacher, they have to rethink whatever it may be the philosophy and other, but if entire world is behind these kinds of the thoughts and other, there must be something. And if anything coming from the Europes and from the Europes and other, then we accept. Our things we have to accept first, and we have to teach the true Gandhi how it will be helpful for mitigation of the environmental problems, their quotation, important quotations and other. I think with this particular, for as an important tool for the control of the environment and for the mitigation, even Supreme Court judge has identified these particular things. Where I have given the reference where you will get the huge literature for making preparation over this one. The Trivedi's book, Environmental Education by Trivedi, then Blissey Declaration is being there, Germany's Berlin Declaration regarding that one, then London meetings where the documents, what points they have discussed in that one, United Nations, the special program which is being there. Now I close this particular education for the life, education through the life, education throughout life. This, as Mahatma Gandhi has quoted. Now I request the question. Now demute your speaker and I appreciate your questions because this is a monologue. Just I was presenting. Whether it has been reached to the participants or not known. How many active are there? I don't know. There is no any systems. Now you switch on your camera or your mic and you can raise the question. It will be the happiest moment to give the answer to your question. Before asking the question, introduce yourself and then ask the question. Unmute first because sound is not audible to me.
Yes, those who want to ask question, please raise your hand. Is
Even
Amol
by
sir here?
even by unmuting, they can ask the question.
सर मुझे आपसे एक बात डिस्कस
बोलिए
करना
सर,
था
कोई बात नहीं।
सर। आपने जैसे बताया ना कि क्या हुआ है अभी तक अपने महाराष्ट्र और आई थिंक ऑल ओवर इंडिया ये जो एजुकेशन है ना, इन्वायरमेंटल एजुकेशन, जैसे कि प्राइमरी, हाई स्कूल, जूनियर और सीनियर कॉलेज में उसी तरह से जो एक्सपर्ट टीचर टीचिंग करना चाहिए वैसे टीचर गवर्नमेंट अपॉइंट नहीं करता सर। और क्या हो रहा है अभी भी ये जो वर्कलोड जो है ईवीएस का वो लैंग्वेज टीचर को प्रोवाइड दिया जा रहा है, वो उनको भी मजबूरी से
Not only
teaching करना
language,
पड़ रहा है।
any other science people is being allotted. Botany, zoology, chemistry, geology, all other teachers, including language. That was the other teachers, other subject teachers it is being teaching. That is the fact.
यस सर, यस सर।
इसके लिए गवर्नमेंट दैट मैं यही तो बोल रहा हूं कि यही मेरा रोना है कि हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने तो ये कंपलसरी कर दिया लेकिन गवर्नमेंट इज नॉट अपॉइंटिंग द टीचर फॉर टीचिंग दिस वन। एंड अगर टीचर नहीं है तो ये क्या जस्टिफिकेशन? इसीलिए तो मैंने अस्पताल का न्यूरोसर्जन का एग्जांपल दे दिया है। पेशेंट है जिसको बेस्ट न्यूरोसर्जन की जरूरत है लेकिन अस्पताल में न्यूरोसर्जन नहीं है। जो भी पर्सन अगर उसका स्कल ओपन करेगा तो डेथ ही है। वैसा ये सब्जेक्ट प्रॉपर टीचर से पढ़ाना चाहिए। इन्वायरमेंटल का जिसका ग्रेजुएशन है उसको जिसने पढ़ा है अच्छी तरह से, सेंसिटिव मैनर से वो पढ़ा सकता है, उसी से ही पढ़ाना जरूरी है। नॉट नेसेसरी इन्वायरमेंट, जियोलॉजी का अच्छा पढ़ाता है उससे सिखाओ, जिसको उसमें कंसेंट है, जिसमें उसका नॉलेज है, उस आदमी से पढ़ाए तो उसका बेस्ट रिजल्ट आ जाएगा। लेकिन हमारी यहाँ नॉन ग्रांट जो है उसकी वजह से जो ये जो सिस्टम चल रहा है, ये दिस इज द लैक्यून ऑफ आवर सिस्टम। Somehow this system is to be improved in the future. Later on, someone may take the raise this particular through those representatives which we are sending to the parliament or the state assembly. They have to raise these kinds of the issues. Teachers, constitutionally, teachers member, they have to raise these kinds of the issues and appoint this teacher, give the justification. Likewise, this intellectual discussion is being expecting in the Vidhan Sabha, etc. But it is unfortunate. It is not going on. That's the bad as far as our education.
This is concerning, sir.
Yes.
Sir, roll number 20, you can ask.
सर नमस्ते।
हाँ नमस्ते सर, बोला।
डॉक्टर नीलेश होदगुरकर फ्रॉम स्वामी रामानंद तीर्थ महाविद्यालय, अंबाजोगाई डिस्ट्रिक्ट, बीड, महाराष्ट्र।
यस
सर, आपने अभी महात्मा गांधी जी की जो सोच थी उसके बारे में हमें जागरूक किया है। और मैं एक सर सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ, ये एनवायरमेंट साइंस जो है वो इतना महत्वपूर्ण होकर भी वो नॉन ग्रैंड क्यों रखा है अब तक, उसे ग्रैंड क्यों नहीं दिया जाता? और
दिस पर्टिकुलर है सब्जेक्ट इन्वायरमेंटल स्टडीज जो 6 मंथ कोर्स है, दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द सुप्रीम कोर्ट डिसीजन। और ये सब्जेक्ट नया अगर कॉलेज में शुरू करता है तो नॉन ग्रांट, ग्रांट को कहाँ देते, गवर्नमेंट कहाँ सैंक्शन करता है, बोलो ना। अगर पीजी कॉलेज है, कॉलेज में इन्वायरमेंटल सब्जेक्ट शुरू करना है तो वो बोलते हैं नॉन ग्रांट शुरू करो, ग्रांट नहीं मिलेगा। तो यही
गलत है सर
गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसी है ना। और अगर जो 6 मंथ कोर्स है वो भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट के डिसीजन के, एमसी मेहता ने जब कोर्ट में फाइल किया था उसके हिसाब से, वो एजुकेशन ही एक में सिस्टम ऐसी है जिसके वजह से हम सुधार सकते हैं। लेकिन वो पढ़ाने के लिए भी अपॉइंट आदमी नहीं करते, उसके जिस सैलरी, ये जो बर्डन है, गवर्नमेंट इज लुकिंग फॉर द पेमेंट्स एंड अदर दीज थिंग्स, इसके इसमें ये लटका हुआ सब्जेक्ट है। इसीलिए
लेकिन ये
वर्ल्ड में इतना
सर
इंपॉर्टेंस असने वाला सब्जेक्ट हमारे यहाँ कुछ भी कचरे जैसा इसका ये हो रहा है। यही सबसे बड़ी खंत की बात है, यही सबसे
जी सर
खेद की बात
ये
है।
हर एक आदमी के लिए जीवन मरण का प्रश्न होती है, वो ये भी
Yes.
इसे ग्रैंड नहीं दिया जाता है सर, इससे बुरी क्या बात हो सकती है सर?
इसलिए मैं क्या बोलता हूँ, आप जब जब हमको, मैंने ये बर्ड्स का एग्जांपल दे दिया था, जिस
जी
वक्त
सर।
उसको कंट्रोल करना है उस वक्त अगर नहीं, हमने गोल्डन पीरियड अगर लूज कर दिए और बाद में कितने भी डेस्परेट हो अगर रिकवर करना है तो हम नहीं कर सकेंगे। ये सब्जेक्ट को जब तक हम ये करेंगे, निग्लेक्ट करेंगे, तब तक
दूसरी नहीं
वो एक वक्त आ जाएगा कि हम कुछ भी नहीं कर सकेंगे इसमें।
बहुत देर
यस,
चुकी होगी सर उस वक्त।
यस, हाँ,
थैंक यू सर,
यस, यस। हेलो, हाँ,
Please raise. Okay.
हाँ,
43. You can unmute.
यस, हाँ, यस, someone is asking the question.
Yes, yes. 43. Please ask.
हाँ, यस,
अरे बोल प्लीज।
हाँ, यस,
सर गुड आफ्टरनून सर। सर गुड
हाँ, यस,
आफ्टरनून।
हाँ, यस, गुड आफ्टरनून सर, सिंह सर, हाँ,
सर दिस इज डॉक्टर पूरन सिंह खाती, गवर्नमेंट पीजी कॉलेज डोईवाला देहरादून उत्तराखंड इंडिया सर।
यस, गुड इवनिंग सर।
सर गुड इवनिंग सर। एज फार एज माय एक्सपीरियंस इज कंसर्न, यू आर हाईली एनर्जेटिक पर्सन सर, फर्स्ट थिंग।
थैंक्स फॉर कॉम्प्लीमेंट। आई एम द
एंड
स्टूडेंट।
आपने हमें
यस, यस,
मोटिवेट किया
आस्क
सर, बहुत
क्वेश्चन
आपसे
सर।
बहुत मोटिवेट हैं हम।
यस,
और
डेफिनेटली सर।
जी सर। और
आप
सर ये जो ये मॉर्फोलॉजिकल ये क्या चीज होती है सर?
कौन सी?
व्हाट इज
मेट्रोलॉजी का।
अच्छा मेट्रो, मैं सोचा मॉर्फोलॉजिकल।
नहीं, नहीं, मॉर्फोलॉजिकल नहीं, यहाँ जो है, जो इन्वायरमेंट का जो है मेट्रोलॉजिकल एस्पेक्ट, और ये जो पर्यावरण के इसमें, देहरादून में आपका कौन सा सब्जेक्ट है सर?
जी सर। जी
सब्जेक्ट, आपका सब्जेक्ट कौन सा है?
सर, माय सब्जेक्ट इज केमिस्ट्री सर, असिस्टेंट
केमिस्ट्री।
प्रोफेसर इन केमिस्ट्री जी।
Okay, okay. Chemistry, to understood the pollution of the chemistry, green chemistry is the special branch devoting the minimum waste is to be generated during the chemical reaction. That kind of entire world is at giving the attention, huge research project in the green chemistry. If chemical reaction, organics or other, finding the new electrosensitive chemicals and other many more things are being there where you can contribute significantly as far as this subject is, sir. Very I appreciate your effort, sir. Hello. Yes, someone is interested to ask the question.
Yes, yes. Please, who want to ask question, raise your hand.
Okay, then.
Yes, sir. Atul Naikpade, sir. Please ask.
Hello,
हाँ, बोला।
I'm professor in physics at Sri Vasantarao Naik Mahavidyalaya, District Amravati, Maharashtra.
Amravati. You are from, sir?
Amravati district, sir.
Yes, okay.
I'm Sri Vasantarao Naik Mahavidyalaya.
Yes, yes. Sound is breaking, sir. जरा थोड़ा माइक के नजदीक से बोलिए। आवाज ब्रेक हो
तो
रहा है
मेट्रोलॉजी की
सर।
बात करने के बाद पोल्यूशन आता है। एम आई ऑडिबल सर?
हाँ नहीं
सर योर
आवाज
वॉइस इज ब्रेकिंग।
आवाज सीधे से नहीं सुनने के लिए आ रही है सर, क्लियर जरा थोड़ी है। हाँ
जब हम मेट्रोलॉजी की बात
हाँ
तो ये जो हम पोल्यूशन के ऊपर बात करते हैं तो गवर्नमेंट के हाथ में होता है कि प्लास्टिक बैन करना। उसके बाद में जब हम ये पॉलीथीन वगैरह यूज करते, कचरे का कोई तो भी नियोजन करना, कि जो चीजों से पोल्यूशन ये होता है पोल्यूशन, उन चीजों पे ऊपर गवर्नमेंट क्यों बैन नहीं करता? जैसे कि जालना संभाजीनगर की जो एमआईडीसी है, उसके बाद में निकलने वाला जो धुआं है, इससे बहुत सारा पोल्यूशन होता है, बहुत हानिकारक है ना सर ये?
ये तो है। हर एक चीज ऐसा है कि इंडस्ट्री भी कंट्री के डेवलपमेंट के लिए जरूरी है। ये से प्लास्टिक हम हमारे कितने भी बोलने से हमारे जिंदगी से प्लास्टिक बाहर नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन हम ये जरूर कर सकते हैं कि हम यूज करने के बाद इसको रिसाइकल और वो इन्वायरमेंट में न जाए, इसका अगर प्रिकॉशन कर दिया तो इसका बेनिफिट भी ले सकते हैं। हर एक चीज पे बैन लगा के वी कैनॉट डू द थिंग्स बाय ब्लॉकिंग एवरीथिंग। इसे केमिस्ट्री, अगर हमको भूख की जरूरत है इसीलिए फूड प्रोडक्शन ही नहीं करना है, बैन इज नथिंग। वी हैव टू अडॉप्ट ए सच ए सिस्टम वेयर minimum degradation is to be ensure. What suppose plastic is the problem, प्लास्टिक बड़े साइज का नहीं, छोटे थिन प्लास्टिक का, इन्वायरमेंटल के माइक्रो प्लास्टिक की समस्या जो है वो पूरा बैन, जो थिन प्लास्टिक के लिए बैन है, जाड़ा है वो रिकवर कर रिसाइकल करने के लिए हो सकता है, तो वो सिस्टम कंपल्सेशन करके वो यूज के लिए भी उपलब्ध करो और उसका इन्वायरमेंट में जाने से प्रोहिबिट भी करो। जलाओ मत, ये होना करना जरूरी है एक्चुअली। दैट्स व्हाई दिस पर्टिकुलर इन्वायरमेंटल एजुकेशन इज नीडेड। कैसे करना है इसको पढ़ाने के लिए वो सिस्टमेटिक आदमी, उसको नॉलेज होने वाला आदमी पढ़ाने के लिए चाहिए। हर चीज पे बैन कर दिए तो कैसे चलेगा? हाँ जहां जरूरी है वहां हमें बैन करना ही पड़ेगा, तो करना ही पड़ेगा, ऐसा कोई ये नहीं। लेकिन उसका थ्रेशोल्ड पॉइंट, किसको बैन करना है, किसको किस तक हद तक यूज करना है, ये डिसाइड के लिए ये जरूरी है, ये नॉलेज, उसका बेसिक डिटेल। इसलिए तो मैंने इंटेंसिटी, प्रॉब्लम कितना कितना है, पहले कौन से प्रॉब्लम को प्रायोरिटी देना, ये सब चीजें इसमें है, आती है वो। और कौन से लेवल पे कौन सा ये करना, मैनेजमेंट, इन्वायरमेंटल मैनेजमेंट, बहुत ही वास्ट है ये सब चीजें, लेकिन जरूरी है ये। दीज आर द नीड ऑफ द टाइम वेयर वी हैव टू एम्प्लॉय द कंजर्वेटिव मेजर्स, वी हैव टू फॉलो, वी हैव टू मिटिगेट द सोर्स pollution at the source, we have to reduce the quantity of the waste which is generated from our society.
रोल नंबर 50। सर यू कैन आस्क क्वेश्चन।
हाँ यस
Yes, sir.
बोलिए।
Yes, sir. This is Dr. K.L. Chandrasekhar from Mysore, Karnataka.
यस सर।
Sir, I'm from law background. Sir, actually, you referred the name called MC Mehta.
हाँ
We law
यस।
students actually we cannot cross touching the cases and reading his cases, and frequently we used to cite wherever actually the cases come, both in the human rights and the environmental studies, sir.
यस।
He's actually the champion of public interest litigation in India.
Oh
He
yes
made
sir।
thousands of cases. He filed thousands of cases in both Supreme Court and High Court. Even after filing those radical case, public interest litigation matter relating to EVS and sustainable development, why Indian government, why Supreme Court is not radical in bringing a big changes, and not giving any alert tone in relating to environmental science, even filing such a plenty of cases relating to EVS.
Yes, sir. I think your question is one of the very relevant. But see, sir, MC Mehta, we identify
Sir.
that is a famous activist, which is now development of the Green Tribunal is the one of the Supreme Courts that because of such rising the large number of the cases, Green Tribunal development is being there. But till government
Yes,
has taken a good number of the actions, tribunal decisions and other, which is mandatory, CPCB, MPCB, State Pollution Control Board, Central Pollution Control Board, and even the other authorities, wherever that legal matter come into with that related to that department, they have to take the cognizance. It is not like that one. Now, cognizance is being taken, but in our India, being a democratic country, and we are following the principle, the development, American patterns of that economic development. in this economy struggle, economic development for maintaining the figures and other these kinds, because development of the society and degradation of the environment are the two sides of the same coin. When development is there, definitely degradation is being there. And as the large number of cases, the environmental activists like MC Mehta is taking active parts and raising this, filing the against in the green tribunals, even in the court, high court, Supreme Courts, and defending that one. So many other, not only MC Mehta is the representative, good number of the workers also from Maharashtra. There is some activist advocate also, they are working like this one. But actually society, there is a need in the society only, awareness among the society. And if society at the point only, if which is prohibiting, because activists and other, they file the case and everything we cannot expect from the government side. So there is an active participation conservative in the conservative programs from the peoples. And if immediately issues is being raised at the local level, that is to be raised. And if needed, then it is to be transmitted to like such one. That is my personal opinion. But there is a need to have the active participation in the environmental conservative programs. And in some, as per recommended by you, there is a till attention of the Supreme Court or honorable authority of our India government has to take the give the attention, and they have to intensify the activity for the protection of the environment. No doubt, I have also having the same feeling like you, that our authorities should have take the appropriate steps for the mitigation of the problem, for giving the environmental education to the society. Good effort, sir. That JCS University's Dr. Balasubramaniam is my best friend, who is working in the field of the environment in Mysore, sir. And he is the one master in that particular area, sir. You can also discuss with that one, Dr. S. Balasubramaniam, who is the dean of GSS, that private university at Mysore. Close that.
मी स्वतःला
Okay.
हे करून घेतलं,
नाही.
होस्ट करून गेलं मी चालतो, तुम्ही करा, तुम्ही
नाही झालं क्वेश्चन आन्सरचा लास्ट क्वेश्चन म्हणजे काय
रोल नंबर 35.
जर कुणी विचारलं तर देतो ना उत्तर. काय
करतो.
येस. Okay, if someone is interested to ask the question, then I will try to give the answer to that one.
Sir, again, roll number 64, I want to ask question to you.
Yes, yes.
Sir, you can unmute. Bhaskar Nikam. Sir, unmute yourself. Bhaskar Nikam.
Yeah, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So
you are
basically, I
audible.
don't have any question, but I want to say that since last 4-5 days, we are having lectures regarding this environmental and sustainable development. Number of lectures are attended. Very nice lectures or informative lectures are there. But today, I want to say that one of the most informative and interesting lecture is conducted by you, and the way you inculcate the various aspects regarding the environment in a very lucid and very different manner by taking various examples. One of the example I want to like to share that the way you say that the gesture is very important in order to transform the knowledge from one point to another point. So this is basically printed in my mind, and I will definitely use in future the way you give that knowledge, and it will be really fruitful for us and very informative one, sir. And best way you guide us and represent the environmental issues regarding various aspects, sir.
Thank you
Very
very much,
nice
sir.
and very informative one, sir.
Thank you. Being a teacher community, with this regard, I would like to give one statement, sir. Being a teacher community, it is our moral duty, because teacher community is a cream of the society. Intellectual people are looking as an intellectual. Whatever it may be, our single activity, which is whether it is good or bad, immediately it get popularized in the society. And always, if we are giving the good lesson to the society member blindly following, trying. That's why always, as a cream of the society, everyone is seeing toward the teacher community as a cream of the society. Every act is being monitored by the thousands of the people. That's why if we are communicating, we have to transmit in very systematic manner, and then it is going to give the good result. Thank you very much, sir. Nice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And today it's really worth the sir. We are attending this refresher. Na, it very that means it is pleasant for us to attend this event.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Any question? Because I will very happy to have the interaction. 3 hour, 2.5 hour, I am continuously sharing with myself. If it is a classroom in the face, I can read the face, whether it is accepted or not. Now in front of this desktop, I cannot read someone now with this particular interaction only, whatever it may be. If there is no necessary, ask any damn question. I will try to give the answer to that one.
Sir, roll number 35.
Yes.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
It's my pleasure, sir.
Yes.
To
Please ask your question, sir. Sir.
Yes, I think there is network issue. That's why he's unable to talk with us.
Okay, no problem. Yes, roll number 20. Yes.
Roll number 20.
सर इसके बारे में और एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ सर। ये जो ओजोन लेयर के बारे में आपने बताया, तो इसे बरकरार रखने के लिए, इस लेयर को अच्छा रखने के लिए हमें क्या करना चाहिए सर? ओजोन
जो जितने भी जो CFC फ्री एसी जो है, वो CFC वाला नहीं लेना चाहिए। अल्टरनेटिव विदाउट CFC के एसी जो है, जो भी क्रायोजेनिक सिस्टम, जो कोल्ड टेम्परेचर, क्रायोजेनिक इज अ साइंस ऑफ कोल्ड टेम्परेचर एंड व्हाट मे the coolers and other where cooling system which is working with the CFC, that is to be avoided. Regarding the ozone layer, the standard, when someone is working as a mechanic for AC and other, he should get the training of that handling of the CFC and other. They have to take the extreme precaution for not to release the CFC into the environment. Single molecule can break the many million molecules of the ozone if it is entered into the stratosphere. So it is non-using is the best way as far as chlorinated hydrocarbons, or not only chlorofluorocarbon, halogenated hydrocarbons and other which are playing the crucial role. Chain reaction is being there, photochemical reactions is being going on. And if we have to avoid that one, we have to prevent at the source, not to permit to enter it into that one. That is the only one way. And as a customer, if we have to go for the non-CFC ACs, non-CFC cooling systems for home. That is our contribution.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Very informative.
Okay. Now roll number 35.
Sir, this is Hanif Sheikh, Department of Environmental Science.
Sir, good evening, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. I am here to express my vote of thanks this session.
Okay, thanks.
Sir, I take
it's after a long time we are seeing to each other, sir. Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir. So I take this opportunity to express the vote of thanks of this session of this refresher course. First of all, I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart to Professor M.B. Muley sir. He's a senior professor, Department of Environmental Science, Dr. Baba Sahib. On behalf of MMTTC and all participants for enlightening us with this knowledgeable and informative talk. Next, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the Director of MMTTC, Professor Satish Patil sir, and course coordinator of this course, Professor N.N. Bandela sir, Senior Professor, Department of Environmental Science, Dr. Baba Sahib Marathwada University, Aurangabad. Next, I would like to thank Dr. Abdul Rafe sir, Assistant Director of MMTTC, and his whole team who are taking effort to make this refresher course successful right from the beginning till the end. And at last, I would like to thank all my fellow mates who are participated in this refresher course and who are attending each and every session patiently and with interest. So thank you all. Thank you, everyone.